Sure. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Grown Man Radio Show. Tonight, my guest is Shan, the Hitman Fancher. We're going to get set up here and continue with the broadcast. Shan lives just down the road here in friendly Bedford, Texas. I'll allow you to pick up those cans right there, amigo. We'll do a little audio check. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you
Hello,
hear me?
hello, hello.
I can hear you. I can hear myself.
Keep that baby about a fist from your mouth at all times, and we'll be in good shape.
Okay, cool.
Shan, would you like some popcorn first and foremost?
I would love some. Thank you, Clay.
I'm coming to you fresh from Valentino's Pizzeria in Bedford, Texas. Have you been to Valentino's?
No, I have not.
Okay, so on the outside, it looks like a mistake. On the inside, the best pizza you're going to find in the DFW area.
Where's that location?
You go past your house, past Lee, two more streets away from coming from us. And then you take a right, and then you dead end at it right there, Valentino's. It's right by that brewery.
Got it.
What's the name of that brewery? Turning Point?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm. Have you been there?
Yeah, we stopped in there for a beer.
I don't get out enough.
We don't get out very much.
I'm
either.
a hermit crab.
That's fair.
Maybe something to do with my two 17-year-olds, but you know, they're self-sufficient.
So you got kids?
Too many.
Too many?
Yeah.
No, that's not true. You always
No,
are
they're
bragging
great.
about your kids.
I love them. Yeah, they're great.
You got nerd kids like me.
Yeah.
They're like in the orchestra.
But marching band.
Marching band.
Yeah, they're they're moving around in circles, which this year, I don't even know what's going to happen this year. Don't know what's going to happen. We got a Zoom meeting with the band director on the 27th. He can't convince me it's worth doing.
Are your kids like on the level where they're going to get a scholarship to college?
The daughter is on all IB classes.
What is that?
It's like college credit in high school. So she's doing the work.
They used to call that AP.
Well, so AP is like now AP is still available, but the IB level is above that.
Ooh, snap.
Yeah. So 4.0 or higher GPA.
So she's on that, and then all of a sudden that collapses.
Basically, so when she finished her junior year of high school, your GPA is everything. She didn't have a GPA. So we've been working so hard for so long, and now we're like, where's all this hard work going to go? It's like, what's her senior year going to finish like? We have to have a GPA, go to college. Is she going to get all this college credit she's been busting her butt for? I don't know.
Do you have a sense of what's going on inside your daughter's mind?
Not at all. Different. There's a foreign language going on in there. That's all I know.
I'd be so pissed.
Oh yeah,
if my college career was about to be devastated by the coronavirus, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. I mean, we thought college was hard for us, but I mean, I've even stopped focusing on how am I going to pay for it. Now I'm focused on
how do we get her in there?
How do we even get out of high school? It's like, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. It's like you can't.
You went from how in the hell are we going to pay for this to we got to get her there.
We got to get out of high school first because this whole COVID-19. Oh man, it's like they're so burnt out already. So we went on vacation last spring break and we just never returned.
What'd you do? A staycation?
Well, last spring break in their junior year, we just took off and went out to.
Hello. We have
you have Ghost?
Yeah, we've got Ghost poltergeist activity here in the 1L studios. Be right back.
Let's take a commercial break.
Oh, we got a hello. Hello. One for you. Wow. Yeah, we've got occasional poltergeist activity. It's a bit of a John Podesta Pizzagate situation here in the 1L studios from friendly Bedford, Texas. Not so friendly. Have you had any what you would consider scary, unexplainable situations in your life as a logical person? You're like, damn, that was creepy.
Other than out-of-body experiences?
Other than that?
I moved into a new house in Arlington, and I was only there for about a week. And it was the only experience I had like this, but I was alone in the house, fresh new bachelor, didn't have anything but a bed and pillow. And I was sleeping, day napping, and I swear something was standing over me trying to steal my pillow.
You swear as if like
I had to
if you were going to bet someone $100 whether or not this was real, you would say that was real.
Oh, it was real. Yeah, I had, someone was pulling my pillow out from underneath me.
What is that? How do you live with that?
I don't know. I haven't forgotten it, and this was like 10, 12 years ago, and I can still feel the tug on my pillow.
There's no way that it was like stuck on the nail in the windowsill or.
No, it was real.
There's no way that you were coming out of a lucid dream.
No, it was real.
I'm waiting for something like that. I've never had anything spooky like that.
I mean, I've experienced other things from, I've had my share of psychedelics and visuals, and I know what's real and what's not, and this seemed real.
Cool.
It felt like like my pillow moved. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's the last time.
Yeah, it was only that one time in that house. And I'm always looking for fun things like that. It's but yeah, just that one crazy experience where I thought someone was trying to steal my pillow.
So you're kind of a hunter, right? You're like a man of the earth.
I would say a man of the earth. I'm a little tree hugger. I do like to hunt, but only if it's fair game. I mean, I would rather go out in the wilderness and hike and see the wildlife. I'm not all about taking its life.
Okay.
I'd rather experience it rather than take from it.
So what's your ideal hunting experience?
Walking through 4-foot grass where you can't see 5 feet in front of you, trying to track a wild hog.
Why hog?
It's fair game. A deer is going to run off. If you spook a deer, it's going to jump up and run off.
You're not supposed to shoot it if it's running away?
No, I'm just saying it's not fair game.
I don't understand that. What do you mean?
So like if you're hunting wild hog, I mean, there's 50-50 shot. If you spook a hog, he's going to run at you or run away.
Okay.
So if you're walking in 4 foot of wild native grass and you can't see what you're stepping on because it's so thick, it's just you in the bush,
So
that's exciting.
There's that element that the hog can charge you,
Oh yeah.
and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's exciting.
When you know that the deer is going to run.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
people that hunt deer, it's more interesting when you go out, in the mountains and you hunt like elk and you're having to track these things and you're having to, take maybe a 600-yard or an 800-yard shot. That's skill. But if you're just sitting in a deer blind watching a deer feeder, that you've trained this deer to come out because the timer kicks out corn every day at dusk, that's not hunting.
I'm not a
That's
hunter.
not even fair.
I'm not a hunter, but I look at that and I think that's not fair.
It's not.
Is that the lazy form of hunting?
For sure. Yeah.
Is that the way that most people hunt?
Yeah. In Texas it is.
But not in
And
the rest of the world?
That's say Colorado, New Mexico, Utah. When you got mountains, you got to go out there and find it.
You got to earn it.
Yeah, you don't have deer blinds. In Texas, you have these open plains where you can see, and you set up deer feeders and you bait them. Baiting is not fun. Like if you went fishing, you're a fisherman.
Yeah.
If you throw out fish food and the fish come up and you scoop them up with a net, is that fishing?
So that's pretty much the same thing as hunting in a deer blind.
That's the way I looked at it.
That's messed up. So in your situation, you're walking through 4 foot high grass and then you stumble upon a hog and it can either charge you or it can run away. And then best case scenario, it charges you and then you stab it in the neck with a knife or what?
No, you just pull out your sidearm and pop it in the head.
That's the dream.
The dream is actually, my dream is actually to come across piglets, baby pigs.
And then what do you do?
Tackle them.
Oh,
Chase it down.
Hand combat?
Yeah, hand-to-hand combat.
Okay.
Run it down, tackle it. Pick it up by its hind leg, take it home. Let the dogs play with it.
And you're allowed to pretty much do whatever you want with piglets in Texas?
You can do whatever you want with any pig.
Really? And the original pigs came across in Spanish vessels back in the day?
True.
They are not, what's the word, native to the Texas area?
You have there's 2 different breeds. You see what they call the wild boar, and I'm short for words. I can't think of the other one that you see more of a West Javelina.
Javelina.
So different, not an actual wild boar. Javelinas are actually protected.
Okay.
You see those in West Texas, way out near Guadalupe Mountains, way out west. The wild boar, the wild pigs that do a lot of damage to farms that you see down south, Waco area, even East Texas, that just tear up farms. They're a menace. Those are open game, no season.
Would you call it a tear-up farm? Oh, you said they
tear up
okay, I
farms.
thought okay, there you go.
No, they plow. They just digging for grubs and worms, and they plow acres a day, and just eat the farmer's crop.
So the government in Texas says this is a nuisance, so you can
Definitely
go.
a nuisance. You don't even need a license, a hunting license to shoot them. Open game.
How many hogs do they think there are currently running wild in the great state of Texas?
Over 1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
And they reproduce super fast.
Oh yeah, they'll have 3. They can have up to 3 litters a year, and a litter can be as big as 15 piglets.
Damn. Okay, and then
Yeah,
how long do they have to live before they get to monster hog status, like on History Channel, like 500-pound?
They can do that in like 3 years.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, if you're a hog hunter extraordinaire,
Yeah.
give us a call via the Grown phone. 925-SANDBAG is the phone number. That's 925-726-3224. The phone lines are open tonight with Shane Fancher, food and beverage, as well as hunting extraordinaire. And we've got some popcorn here, just fresh back from Valentino's New York Pizza here in friendly Bedford, Texas. They got a pool table. They got foosball. You got a dollar pool. There's the young man there that's, hey, sir, are you into pool? And well, as a matter of fact, I am. And I wasn't quite versed on the COVID situation. So selfishly, I just continued on as though his question of me was not a self-invitation to come play some pool. So I just kept playing pool, and we kept talking back and forth because I didn't know if the parents were cool with the young man coming up and, hanging out within a 6-foot radius of me.
Are there CDC guidelines for playing pool on billiards?
If you know, give us a call, 925-SANDBAG. That's 925-SANDBAG. I don't think there are. I haven't seen any specific billiards.
There will be soon, I'm sure.
What is your sense? What are we doing, Shane?
Man, if I knew that answer, it'd be a whole other podcast.
What are we doing? I mean, I know it's bad. We had some family that got sick from this thing. I know it's real. It's not fake.
No, it's not fake.
It's a real deal.
What is unclear to me, there's a lot of gray area. It's like, why can you go to Six Flags? But my kids can't.
Essential.
But my kids can't start school. Why can you go to Walmart, but my kids can't start school?
Well, it's because one has to make money and one costs money.
But we already, as taxpayers, school is already paid for.
One can operate without the input of taxpayers, and one must operate within the perception of taxpayer.
I don't know what we're doing.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Super bizarre. Do you think people in the Spanish flu felt like this, or do you feel like we're unique?
This is totally unique because of the time and the age that we're in with technology.
The Spanish influenza came at a time when you would get your news from maybe a weekly newspaper in the town square when you went and got your feed.
You had to go hunt down. You had to go hunt down the paper boy, the newsstand. Now you just open your phone. Back then you had good reporters. You could trust the newspaper.
Yeah, they had no incentive to be on any one particular side. Their job was to tell you their news. Their job was not to tell you the news on one side.
Right.
It was just to portray the news. So yeah, I think I'm on the same team. Perhaps it's highlighting some of our fatal flaws of being so divided, where we can't even agree upon certain set principles, certain facts. And the fact that you can't change your mind. If you've gone down one road for so long and it turns out that was the wrong strategy, to me, the most honorable thing is to say, oh, I was wrong. Let's redirect. Let's do the new strategy, given the new information. But it seems as though it's difficult for when everybody's entrenched on two different sides to change teams or to meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's spinning out of control. Are there
Not good.
are there even teams anymore? I don't understand.
I think the new teams are the teams were mask versus no mask, and now we've heard that wearing a mask is probably a good idea from the highest voice on the pulpit. So then the new one, what's the new one? After we all agree that masks are a good idea, then where do we go? I think the next one.
Wait it out.
I think the next one is like death toll. Like, what is the acceptable percentage?
We're still less than 1%.
That seems to be the data that's coming in, right? Less than 1%.
Yeah.
Of people that get it that die. And there's speculation that there are cases of COVID deaths that are incorrectly reported, that if it hadn't been for this disease, that it would have been ruled something else. But perhaps because the hospital has an incentive to classify it as a COVID death, they do that.
Well,
but that being said, that doesn't mean that it's fake.
They died with COVID, not because of COVID.
That's one argument.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that it's bullshit. That's just to say that there are people with financial incentives it's better to say that died because of that, because your hospital gets more money. And you get to keep the lights on, and you get to keep your employees.
Do they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just some guy. I'm just a caddy. I just hear from the 1L Studios. If you'd like to call and join the discussion and educate me, it's 925 Sandbag. That's 925 Sandbag.
Do we know how many listeners do we have?
Let's take a look.
What's going on tonight?
It's probably popping up. We got 4 watching right now. Lauren Winnell says, Hrvatska, there's a time and a place for masks versus wear them all the time.
I had to explain to a bar patron, because I'm a bartender, why wearing a mask is important.
Okay. Yeah. So can I be the bar patron?
Yeah.
Be a bar.
I broke it down to him like this.
All right. Shane, these masks are bullshit, man.
Well, if I have to pee and I'm not wearing pants, you may get a little splash on you. Okay? And if you have to pee, you may splash on me. But if I'm wearing pants and I pee, it stays with me. Doesn't get on you. So if we all wear pants and when we go pee, we don't pee on each other. Does that make sense?
I think I know the intent that you're going down it, and the fact that it's not so much that you're not afraid of the virus, it's more about
we all have to pee.
You gotta stop from peeing on each other.
Yeah.
Cut down the R. Kelly act.
Yeah. There's no need for that. Put a mask on, continue your life, have a little cocktail, go out, have a little dinner. Don't get crazy. Don't go in a room with everyone not wearing pants. I mean, would you go in a room with no one wearing pants? I wouldn't. I'm gonna wear pants.
Unless they're pajamas.
That's still pants. I'm not asking you to, you want to free. I know people that you can free ball it, but still wear pants, man.
Yeah, I get it.
You gotta wear pants when you go out.
Yeah, it's part of our mutual assumed responsibility.
Yeah.
You can't walk around naked.
No.
Now you can't walk around without a mask on.
Yeah.
Well, you can be outside as long as you're not immediately around somebody. I don't know the new rules. It makes me mad. I was mad. I think I was mad 2 weeks ago. And now I'm back to this is a clown show. But it's also a bad situation. So the way we're handling it is a clown show.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, before it was statewide mandate to wear a mask, I went on my almost weekly journey to Dinosaur Valley State Park, which I love.
Weekly?
Yeah, I like to go trail running. I like to stay in shape, man. Just go hang out with the dinosaurs, follow the footprints, back in time.
What the hell are you talking about?
Trail running.
No.
Running
What is
trail.
Dinosaur Park?
Dinosaur Valley State Park
Yeah.
in Glen Rose, Texas.
What the hell is that?
It's a state park, man. It's on the Paluxy River.
Paluxy?
Yeah.
So,
Go south on 35, you go west on 67, and you go into Glen Rose, and you go north on 205, and before you know it, you got your face to face with a T-Rex.
And so in an hour and 20 minutes from downtown Dallas, you're running through creek beds that were filled with all sorts of brontosaurus and stegosaurus. And
yeah, it's fun.
is it cool? Do you have to pay for parking?
I have a state park pass. I'm an annual membership.
Holla.
Yeah, so, love the great state of Texas and great state park program. So I go out there and go running, and I lost my train of thought, but
That's all right. So we get to the dinosaur park, and then we hop out, and then we start.
we go running, we hit the trail. Yeah, do a little 9-mile jog.
9-mile jog, bragging.
It's fun. I mean, there's some hills you can't run up because it's loose gravel. You got to be safe. You won't get hurt.
How'd you get to that point where you can jog 9 miles? That's unthinkable for me.
It's taken a year to get there.
All right.
Back when the COVID hit back in March and you couldn't go to the gym no more, I had to stay at home and work out.
Okay.
So then I started running, but no, it was a decision I made a year ago to start working out and getting in shape.
So what's your workout routine?
I have joined a local membership at this Stonegate Elementary School. They have a great little outdoor gym area in Blacktop. Free membership with participation.
What?
Yeah.
As long as you participate, it's free? I'm in.
They have a great sunset amenities and sunrise amenities if you like getting up early.
What is that?
You get up early and sunrises. It's free. It's beautiful.
Can you use like the shower or something? Is that the sunrise amenity?
Yeah, I mean, it does rain. You do get a shower every once in a while if you're there. There's no towels. There's no, there's not many members. I've only seen one other member.
You're an early adopter.
Yeah, it's a new program. It's catching on though.
All right.
I see more walkers every day. I just haven't met them yet. So I guess there's more than one member.
So how do you turn the corner? You were not someone who worked out before.
No.
And then all of a sudden you're someone who works out.
So I do a lot of hiking along with the hunt.
When did your mind switch before we get to the hiking? When did you say, I'm going to be someone who works out?
When the hiking kicked my butt.
You were like, damn, you were hiking back to your car one day, like, God, I'm out of shape.
Yeah. You go on a 10-mile hike and you're just completely exhausted to where was that fun? Did I enjoy that? And I like being outdoors and I like getting lost in the woods, but that was physically exhausting. How do I make this funner?
So you for next time, you want to be more competitive.
You get in shape.
All right, so you made your mind. How long ago was this?
A year ago.
All right, and you've stuck to your mental discipline?
For sure.
But you're someone who has a lot of mental discipline naturally. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, as a human being on this earth, if you don't, you're losing.
And that's something that I lack. That's something that coming out of COVID, I've literally got as the background on my phone is discipline. So that's just something that you live. I'm looking for tipperooskies of how you find motivation to get out of the bed and go down to the Dinosaur Creek for an 8-mile jog at 5 a.m.
Well, I grew up there. So it's I have these childhood memories. And when I'm there, I just feel like I belong and that it just feels good. But there is a point in the workout, like hiking, and this is something I chase. After 9, first mile or 2 or 3, man, this is a warm up, and then when you hit, mile 9, or or even if there's been instances where I've been on a 23-mile hike. You hit this euphoria of adrenaline. And it's nothing that you can buy over the counter.
How long does it last?
Hours.
Can you describe it?
So for instance, I did a 23-mile hike in one day. It was a big loop in Oklahoma, at Talamina State Park in Oklahoma, and it's a 3.5 hour drive there.
That's fine.
You do the 23-mile loop, you're done, you're excited, you feel accomplished, and get in a car, you drive home. And when you get home, you just can't stop talking about it. You had the best day, and you were by yourself all day.
You're not even a little like trick to stop and get a Diet Dr. Pepper. You're like, can't wait to get home.
I know, you've earned the Dr. Pepper. You've earned the fried chicken sandwich.
What?
Yeah.
What about chili cheese dog?
Anything you just burn, I don't know how many calories. You gotta eat. Gotta eat. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like something you chase, and you don't really get there until you push yourself past that limit that you've not been yet.
So is there a point where you're like, God damn it, I don't want to hike anymore? And you're like, shut up, pussy, you're going to keep hiking. And then past that point, you feel ridiculous.
When you start talking to yourself,
then you're in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's
It's when you get to that point, you're like, man, how much further do I have? 8 miles? Shit, pick it up. Let's go. We got this. Let's do it. Get there. Because you can't stop. What are you going to do? Stop? You can't.
Yeah. I've always wondered how well are the trails marked? Pretty well.
Yeah, there's usually some kind of white flag or blue flag or trail marker that's, a reflector on the trees. Yeah.
Would you have to mess up pretty bad to get off course?
No, it's very easy to get off course.
That was my next question.
Because if you go a half mile or even 2 miles and you don't see a trail marker, you need to stop, check your surroundings.
Is your phone usually working at this point?
It's funny because you may not have cell signal, you may not be able to have call or send a text, but your GPS almost always works.
Okay.
And there's without
cell data.
There's a lot of trails. If you pull up Google Maps or Google Earth and you zoom in far enough, you start seeing these dotted lines, and those are all trails that are actually loaded into Google.
Really? Okay, so you can access them without data.
Correct.
And that's like a spin-off of like some
GPS.
sort of government program.
Yeah, because Google's been everywhere. They've walked those trails. They have flagged them. They've marked them. They're there.
Okay. And Melissa's from Colorado, so we've been hanging out with people in the past that talk about the benefits of America's like public land. Is there much public land in Texas that you can go out and hunt and hike?
National forest. You can hunt and hike.
We got an incoming call from a 973 number here. Let's see if we can pipe him in to the Grown Man Radio superstation here. Oh boy. 973 calling back. It's not every radio station that calls you back.
No.
Oh, we're leaving a message here.
Your brother keeps trying to call in and it's ringing on your phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I answered and I said, hi, Ollie, because it says Ollie phone.
Oh, it's Ollie?
No, Luke's trying to call in, but it's not ringing. It's
Oh.
ringing on your phone.
Okay, I'm trying to call him right now.
And you can
Luke.
hear.
What's going on? Welcome to the Grown Man Radio Show. You're live with Shan Fancher.
Pretty good, Luke.
This is my brother.
Right on.
Luke, as someone from Texas for a brief moment, do you feel any woulda, coulda, shouldas of getting up into a helicopter and bringing a little
Wow, that'd be
apocalypse now to
sweet.
some hogs?
If you like being cruel to animals, are you a dog owner? That's only. I know. I wouldn't call it tradition. It is more of a fad or a trend. I do know people that do that, and they go through a lot of dogs, and dogs lose limbs. Me, of owning 3 dogs, I would never send my dog after a pig because I've seen what pigs can do. They do that because they don't like shooting animals, or They try that morally they when they use dogs, they're trying to catch pigs live, and they're gonna try to relocate those. And
They're
that's
usually not slitting the throat of the pig. So
No.
I think what Luke is calling about is sending out, what kind of dog is it that goes and hunts down a pig?
any trained dog.
Any kind of
Lot
dog.
of-
Is there
lots of
one
dogs can
breed
do
though
it.
that's like the best at it?
I don't want to be. I mean, me as a dog owner, I own 3 pit bulls, and people, pit bull already has the bad reputation. But I do know people that use pit bulls to track and hunt hogs, and usually they use like some sort of a hound dog that can smell and sniff them out, and when those hound dogs corner pigs, they start barking, and then they get the pit bull out with the body armor and release the pit bull on them, which I do not agree with at all.
And the theory is that the pit. I think that would be a tough sell. That baby would have to be have some nitrous in the wheelchair.
I know people that do that, and
Yeah.
wow, I like that.
That's premeditated hunting right there, if I've ever heard of that. Do you have any strategies for how? So would you probably like train them towards a certain quadrant with like a corn feeder, and then on one day you just put down a bouncing Betty? Call it.
Yeah, just
What-
kind of cornering them and shooing them in that direction, or just plant the mines and then plant the hog's favorite crop to grow on top of. So when they start digging that up,
Sure.
which they're good at.
Mhm.
For sure.
Luke, have you ever been hunting in any form? My only hunting experience was in a blind, and we were trying to shoot pigs from a blind. And we were up there with like an 18 pack of Coors. And of course, I was hammering through them. And this was with Dylan Mihawk, South Texas fella, friend of ours. So like, I think the etiquette when you're in a deer blind is to not pee unnecessarily, because the urine is going to like scare away the critters. Is that fair, Shane?
That is, it just says your deer blind's not set up correctly.
Okay, because you're upwind of.
Because you could actually have a PVC pipe inside the deer blind going all the way to the ground.
That's the way to go, probably.
That's
If
the
you're
way
going to
to
be
go.
drinking.
If you're going to be drinking beer, you gotta have it set up.
Because I kept popping the little hatch on the camouflage thing and going down the little steps and then going out and peeing. And the guy's like, "Come on, man, we're not going to see anything."
Yeah.
And so I climbed back in there, and the only thing I saw all day, it was almost as if it was in a cartoon. Like I was sitting there looking through my scope, pretending like I was, some badass, like looking at the trees, looking at the ground, panning over. I was looking down like a lumber road. It was like a dirt road. I could see maybe 300 yards. And all of a sudden I see dirt start getting kicked up. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I moved my sight on it and I watched this thing for like 90 seconds, and a little groundhog comes out of the ground on the road. I was like, oh, that's cute. And then for like 2 seconds, I was like, man, I could blast this thing. But I didn't pull the trigger. Was that the right move?
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a
You
groundhog.
shouldn't be shooting
Because
across the roads.
I had like an emotional attachment to the thing. Like it had popped up through the road. There was dirt kicking everywhere.
You should also never shoot or kill anything you're not going to eat.
You should never shoot, even like
If you're not going to eat it,
don't shoot it.
don't shoot it.
That's a fair rule. Yeah, I could see. I remember that was strictly accidental. I was definitely one with the force. It was one of these like get a pellet gun at Walmart and then 90 minutes later you're taking pot shots at Coke cans on the back porch. And then there was a squirrel that came into view, maybe 30-foot shot up in a tree, and had a pointed pellet, aimed it, shot it, and that thing twitched. Yeah, that was a full pump. Sometimes you can go 6 pump and get away with it, but I put everything I could into it and got one right through the old Ghislaine Maxwell pineal gland right there.
That was a big word.
And that I felt well,
I hope you feel
honestly, that was one of the few moments.
How old were you?
I was probably 13, and that was one of the moments. There was a few moments, but my dad was like, that was awesome. And
Manhood, yeah.
And I felt very grown. Like when that happened, I felt as though I had accomplished something, even though it was pure luck. And it's obviously we're still talking about it. So it was a moment that was very formative for me.
Everybody remembers their first
Extinguishing a
kill.
life.
Remembering your first kill, you got to honor it.
What was the first thing you killed or person?
What was it? Was it a pig? Yeah, definitely a pig.
How did it feel? Were you softy?
I already had the smoker fired up, so I was excited. I felt good about it.
Were you
I was about
like
to smoke this thing and eat it.
Did you digest it emotionally, or were you already like? Did you feel bad later?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Not just did you eat its heart? The caller asks.
No, we didn't. But we smoked it. It was good too. Makes a hell of a taco. And those little baby pigs, those little things under 25 pounds, they got the most tender meat.
Adrenochrome.
It was good. Those big pigs aren't very good. The babies, they're pretty good. They will find that.
Does that haunt you to this day? That inaction? I think I squashed a frog one time. I was young and dumb, and I saw a frog hopping, and then I launched a rock, and then I immediately regretted it. and then the rock hit its target.
So at home, I have this golf ball launcher that I built.
Yes, a
from
potato
scratch.
gun. Yes,
It's a potato
I
gun,
remember
but
that.
it's designed for the golf ball. And every once in a while, you know, I have a koi pond. I have a koi pond that attracts its toad or frog every now and then, and those can be the very, very similar size of a golf ball, and those things will launch across the street.
I can only imagine.
I in no way harmed. I in no way harmed a frog.
You just expedited, huh?
I just expedited it.
Well, Luke, what's the COVID situation on the ground in New Jersey? Oh no!
Oh wow! Did you get sprayed? So I have a question. Was the bag was it like a lawnmower with a bag, or is it like kicking out the side? I want the visual. Well, sometimes there's always vermin who, you know, some vermin.
Well, we don't feel bad about killing cockroaches or mosquitoes or mice or rats. What privileges? I know, but like a rat presumably is no smarter than you wouldn't feel bad. I mean, I guess you'd probably feel bad if a nest full of rats fell in front of your lawnmower. What a weird conversation. But it's a fair question. If a nest full of rats fell down and I bet you'd feel worse if you ran over a rat than a turkey vulture, because they're closer to your. No, just nature rats, nature subway rats. I think it would be worse because they're closer to your own kin. Not that it's your fault, but if you're gonna like cut that line down, that would be a little bit worse.
So I have a confession.
I'm just trying to be open and honest.
Yeah, I have a confession. There's been times that I've had to protect property from certain vermin, and that was, you know, like armadillos tear up property. They've got to go. I don't eat armadillos. So
can you eat armadillos?
You can. But
how would one eat it?
You'd eat it out of the shell, you know?
Just
I've never ate one.
Okay.
But
so you shot armadillos. Have you shot, what else have you shot? Skunks?
yes, they dig holes. They tear up grass. And as you know, grass is important to us.
Indeed.
It pays our bills.
Indeed.
Nice manicured lawn is what we live for. And like, if you were, say, on any golf course and you saw trash somewhere, but that's weird to have trash there.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably from a raccoon.
Okay. Those gotta go.
They gotta go.
Yeah, it's weird what you can agree upon that needs to
It's vermin.
that needs to be removed, but then you say certain things and you start like, oh God, I'm getting into deep water here talking about accidentally killing this thing.
That's brutal.
It's lawn maintenance 2.0.
You get that?
Doctoral. You get your fertilizer and your aerification all in one. I'm soft, man. I'm super soft. I have a hard time. Well, I don't have a hard time with bugs. Like I smashed a cockroach the other day, so I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But at some point, we started drawing different ethical boundaries. Like nobody cares about smashing a fly, but thinking about hitting a mole, coming up with a garden implement, all of a sudden that seems worse ethically. So it's all hypocritical, but I know I'm soft. I don't have any particular interest to go hunting. I would like to go if I really earned it. If I woke up at 4 and we stayed upwind or whatever, downwind of the animal the whole day, and we had a strategy, and our whole trip culminated in one opportunity for me to draw the bow and put an arrow on target on a big deer. I mean, I feel like that would be cool and you could justify that, but just going into a big, game fenced in area where you're sitting in a blind and drinking beer and pissing into a tube that's PVC piped down into the ground, and then you shoot something. It doesn't seem like you earned it as much.
Gotta earn it. If you can't grow your own, you may have to hunt for it. And we've been practicing growing our own.
Well, Shane was the one that when the shit hit the fan, I was like, hey man, what do we do to start growing our own? And you've been on the survival program for years. You had the big barrel catching the rainwater and off of your roof.
Yeah.
And you've been gardening for years.
Yeah.
And that's because that's part of like your family's culture, right?
I garden year round. I grew up with a garden.
So
I grew up eating collard greens and cornbread, man.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up all over Texas.
Okay. So right now, where are we at in the garden like programming? So right now we got green bell pepper, jalapeno, tomato. Our one tomato plant that was thriving early is now dying.
Yeah, season's almost over.
But our little baby
summer.
tomatoes are doing okay. So I don't know. But so what do we start to plant once fall hits in Texas?
So you want to start looking at mid-September. You start planting like lettuce seeds, spinach seed, radishes, collard greens, mustard greens, if you're into that. Cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots.
We tried carrots, it didn't work.
It's too hot.
Too early.
It's too hot, too early.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's fall. And you may have a quick harvest before January 1, and you may have a secondary harvest, after that. Because a lot of that stuff is very hardy and it won't freeze.
Okay. Have you tried corn?
Corn you have to have a lot of corn because it pollinates each other. So having one or two, you won't have a good crop. You have to have a field of corn because all that pollinates each other.
What does that mean?
Pollinate is just the flowers will fall, or it'll bloom, and then the little pollen will be caught by the other plant, and that's where the fruit comes from.
So it's rare that they impregnate each other?
It's not rare. That's how it works.
No, so I guess I don't understand why you have to have a lot.
More the merrier. The better chance, better crop. Anytime you label something that ain't your label, yeah, you're gonna get sued.
We have the intellectual property on those genetics.
Because of the wind and the pollen. That pollen can travel. I mean, and even bees can carry it. Bees can do that. You know, that's how bees survive. But yeah, but if you got people testing your product and finding traces of their own product, I mean, you may have trespassers, and you may just need to be careful. But yeah, that can happen
I like
in today's world.
When you go to the grocery store and you buy a red bell pepper, and if you were to cut that open and take a seed out and put it in the ground, those seeds don't grow more red bell pepper.
Sure, they do.
They do?
You take it.
I've heard they do not.
There's a chance of it working. You take a tomato from the store, if you just take a regular slice out of it and put it in a pot, you may get 1 or 2 tomatoes just from that. Peppers are a little bit more sensitive. Tomatoes are a lot easier. I mean, it's just experience and
So
how you treat the seed.
That's fake news that there are like sterile seeds in vegetables and fruits at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's fake news.
Okay, interesting.
Seed's a seed. I mean, you get a seedless watermelon. Yeah, you're not going to be able to grow anything from that. But
I want one of them cube watermelons. You ever had one of those, Collar?
yeah, it molds. It just grows into its shape.
That is pretty genius. Yeah, it's amazing to me the short time that we've had a garden, how big, for instance, the green bell pepper can be coming off of such a tiny little shrub. It seems like a mismatch of like mass.
If your plant survives the August heat, you're gonna have a lot more fruit come September, October.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you grow some grown man vegetable plants, they're gonna be good.
They will be thriving September, October.
How late can a tomato plant make it in Texas?
It's almost done. You could have fall tomatoes, but it's not gonna be the same. Because the tomatoes really do enjoy the long days of sun, the long hours of sunlight, which they need, and they do enjoy the high temperatures.
We had a squash plant that was kicking ass, and then all of a sudden it started getting these little like grubs biting into its stems, and it started getting yellow, no good.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It happened to us too.
Is there anything you can do about that? The garden's going pretty well. I would say the parsley and the basil plants are outpacing expectations. The green bell pepper's doing great. Jalapenos have been good. They're not spicy jalapenos. We house sit for a family in South Lake that has a garden too, and their jalapenos are 10 times hotter than what we got. So I guess it just depends on what kind of plant you get. Tomatoes have been. Well, Caller, that is the actual parsley, the actual legal.
The Italian flat leaf.
Yeah, the Italian broadleaf dicot is what we're growing here at the Friendly 1L Studios in Bedford, Texas. And of course not, I would not partake in a illegal substance that well, frankly, anybody that partakes in such a thing should be locked inside of a cage for many years to pay for their indiscretions. As we know, well, we just have to spend a few more billions and kill a few more people and put a few more people in prison before we finally win the war on drugs. We're very
So
close.
We're
You
so
can't-
close to legalizing it too and wasting all that money.
Oh my
spent.
God. Well, it's almost time for a war on drugs 2.0 because we are so close.
Yeah.
Double down. It should be death penalty. Well,
The awkward silence.
I missed the first couple minutes of the show tonight. Have I met Shane? I don't think so.
probably not. Shane works.
This is not the S&M radio show.
No, different Shane. Shane works at this golf course I work at. We both work at this one golf course, and he's been there for a long time. I've known him.
16 years.
Yeah, I think we first met in '08, and then you had a going away party that I went to back in the Disney when I was an
I
intern.
used to throw some parties.
Where were those parties? The going away
I
party
lived
for
I lived in Arlington
okay.
at a party house. I ran, that was the house I had the awkward pillow stiller from.
Didn't you have a margarita machine at that house?
I had 2 kegs. I had a margarita machine. I had a pregnant bartender. I had a bouncer. I took, a cover at the door. I mean, I had hors d'oeuvres, all you could eat. I had people all
Are you
over,
serious? You
all
had like
over the front lawn.
You had a private bar?
Oh yeah.
For how long?
We definitely had the
The
black
black
light
light.
going. But yeah, we had a full on. That was a hell of a going away party. Some of my best friends moved to Colorado, and that was a great party. I had the whole block working. I mean, I had everyone there. That was the best party I've ever thrown.
So we met back then, and we didn't really keep in touch, but in this most recent stint at this golf course that I work at, it just so happened that Shane and I were both living in friendly Bedford, Texas. And then when the world lost its mind and everybody thought that you had to go live off the land, Melissa and I were like, oh my God, we got to build a garden. And then one way or another, we got.
I think it's only like 1.3 miles to my house.
Yeah, it's
Not even that. It's not even a mile from
It's
my
a
house.
bizarrely close distance. And so we started talking about gardens, and we were trading out pizza for gardening tools. Shane lent us his hedge trimmers and weed whackers and hoes and shovels. And we got to where we needed to be in the garden. And then we've got some of those tools for ourselves. We still need a hedge trimmer. Can you use a weed whacker on hedges?
Hell yeah.
You can?
If you're good with it.
You have, what's the
It's
tip?
a craft.
How do you do it?
Practice.
It's gotta be gentle.
Sometimes it helps. It helps if you remove the safety guard that cuts your string. That way you can have a longer string.
Okay.
But that's dangerous.
Luke, do you have any tips for using the weed whacker on hedges?
Living the good life. Well, I hope you take care of that person and pay them high respect. Everybody needs that guy to take care of their outdoor facilities. Woo! That's a whole other subject.
So, Luke, I was talking to an Uber Eats driver at this pizzeria that I was at earlier, trying to get carbo loaded for this show. And I was asking him about Uber Eats, and he said that it's a good situation. He said he usually makes between $18 and $25 an hour. He said he can work as much as he wants. And I was just asking him what he thought about the future of America and how long it would take until we're all in a situation where we sort of all are back at a place almost as if we had forgotten that anything had ever happened. How long do you think it'll be before we're in a place where the average American doesn't even think about the inconveniences once brought by the coronavirus pandemic? I'm talking about where it no longer has any impact on any part of our lives, mentally or physically. It's not even a consideration.
I don't know the history of this, but we obviously have influenza, and that affects us every year. And there is no vaccine that sort of yeah, with prevalent rates. And despite all that, we still have some fairly high deaths here. So I think my personal take on this is that, you know, basically we have another every year there will be, as far as I can tell, every year there will probably also be. So we don't really take any precautions for flu. There's vaccine. But I think it's that's the point that we'll get to that
Do you remember when I don't want to say I'm young, I'm not old either, but
How old are you?
38.
I'm 32.
So do you remember as a kid? Do you remember as a kid being scared from like going to school and like being taught about the HIV virus?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
You didn't have that?
Nope.
When I was in 7th grade, I had a speaker at my middle school come out and they were like, you know, asking like questions, and they ended up pointing out, you know, they're like, if you have this, stand up. If you have this, stand up. Or, you know, if you have, everyone stand up. If you have this, sit down. If you have this, sit down. If you have this, sit down. You know, so they're like, they're playing a giant game of guess who, and then, you know, like, okay, one out of
I have HIV.
yeah, one out of you 4 is gonna have HIV. And I was like, what? One out of us 4? I'm like, oh my, like this is like scary. Like, and here I am 38, and I've only ever met 2 people.
So
with
they were saying
HIV.
at the time it was 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
dirty.
and I now you got Magic Johnson, who owns insurance companies, and he doesn't even test positive anymore.
My new millennial know nothing conspiracy theory is that, you know how we've got the military industrial complex that has a interest in maintaining endless for-profit wars. Now we have the healthcare industry, for-profit industry, that has an interest in keeping COVID a scary monster, so you can keep as much money flowing through that problem as possible. What do you guys think about that crazy millennial know nothing conspiracy theory?
Regardless of COVID,
Even just muddying the waters to keep people afraid for longer, it would seem like you would make money from that. And until it's a distant memory, I would have to read, a wiser man than I recommended I read this book about the Spanish influenza. He said basically everything you need to know about Corona is in this book. It's going to be basically a complete recreation of what happened back then. So without reading that, my best guess would be that it's going to be a thing over 1.5 years, 2 years, where the average person is going to forget about. I mean, I think about how pissed off I was about the George Floyd fella getting murdered, as far as I could tell. I was super mad about that, and it wasn't even in my immediate world. And for a while, I was like, God, I'm so mad about that. That is so brutal. But then like I wake up on, today, whatever that is, a month later, and it's not on the forefront of my mind. And I like have to try to remind myself of something that at one point was like, God, that is brutal. Like, how is that a thing? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel a little hypocritical. I realize in that regard. But all that being said, with like short attention spans, this has sunk deep, down into the marrow, I think. And it'll take a couple of years, probably 6 months after things return to absolute normal, for people to totally forget about that it ever even existed.
I'm gonna go far left on you and think that this is the beginning of what is the new. This is like we are right now. We're molding a new generation.
This is like the new 9/11, where like travel
Yes.
after 9/11.
Yes.
Of course, you have to take your shoes off, and of course, your parents can't come with you to the gate and wish you well. They have to stop before the security check. And of course, you got to wear a mask when you go to a restaurant. Of course, you wear your mask until you get seated, and then it's okay to take your mask off.
I mean, but there's so many other things that are affecting, parents that are having to keep their kids at home, parents that are having to worry about, do I go to work today? Do I stay home? Or I can say, I've been exposed and I can get 2 weeks paid vacation, and then I can do it a second time, and then the third time. And, the
You have an incentive.
The government's going to pay
fit.
me to stay home, and I don't have to work anymore. And then my kids are going to learn this habit. And then it's just like butterfly effect, and everyone's staying at home. And then there's, what everyone on a serious note, what everyone's not talking about is the suicide numbers, how high they are.
What I've heard that the cure can't be worse than the problem. What kind of suicide numbers are we looking at? Is it unprecedented?
You're talking about 12-year-olds taking their own life. You're talking about adults taking their own life. Adults that have real problems or just simple problems, really, but they take them too far. And then, explain to me how a 12-year-old can get there, can go from having everything he wants to where he thinks that he's not suitable for this world, where he takes his own life.
I cannot explain that.
You can check it out. Hayden's Corner, a good friend of mine, Brad Hunstable. It's a true story. It recently just happened this year. It's a sad story, but it's worth everyone's attention. It's people need to be aware of this situation, that we're looking at COVID numbers and death tolls, and but look at what everyone's not talking about, and that's the suicide numbers, how they are skyrocketing.
Because that's a
Well, when parents are at home losing their jobs, they can't pay their bills, they're drinking more, they're being more abusive to their kids, and the kids don't know how to handle this. It's just the giant butterfly effect. I mean, in the instance I'm talking about, Hayden's Corner, it's not what it's about. No. Yeah, that's the thing. This is the first time for all of us, whether we're 38, 35, 32, or 12. None of us has ever experienced something like this in our lifetime. So we're all trying to figure out how to cope with it, how to get through it. And there's not really a support system in place. My kids at 17 are trying to figure out what they're going to do their senior year of high school. And they don't know until they're told what they can do. But it's affecting everybody for the first time. It's hard. But yeah, their childhood is ending with this.
It's sort of like going to war. I mean, we said early on that we're going to war with an invisible enemy, and whether or not that enemy is as severe as we thought it might be in the beginning is sort of irrelevant. Like psychologically, we're basically all have a collective enemy for the first time in our lives, and we're all sort of seeing what everybody's made of in a situation where we all have one collective enemy that's saying, you know, whatever your dreams were, that's going to have to be on hold a little bit, or you're going to have to be creative in order to, you know, get around this little roadblock here.
But that's an interesting word, war. Where did it come from? Where did it start? Did someone actually intentionally put this in play? Did they push that first domino to have everything else fall?
If that is indeed proven
Is this
to
an
be,
act of war?
it very well could be, as far as I've heard. I heard
We do have 2 aircraft carriers in the South Sea of China.
I would say that would
We
be
have cut ties doing business with one of the biggest nations on the globe.
here's my bias. My bias is that, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know that I don't know where I want that, but effectively, if you look at the fallout of the fact that I would argue that the fallout, if your goal was to guarantee safety, probably more expensive, more severe, more punishment than like Obama.
Yeah. This is crippled.
It's like it's a learning experience. Even if it's not an act of war, it's certainly a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's crippled. I mean, here we are not even going to school anymore. We're not educating ourselves. We're not bettering ourselves. We're stumped.
Well, it does it. So what is it exposing exactly? Is it exposing the fact that we are unable to cope with the fact? If we look at the facts, this thing is super.
It's exposing our
Easily.
strengths and our weaknesses. They're clear as day. And strengths and weaknesses are almost the same thing. The one thing that we rely on every day to continue from day-to-day operations is one thing, and we're using it right now.
Internet.
That's the next target.
Yeah, once that goes up.
Oh, it's only beginning. I mean, if you were lucky to survive the first wave or second wave of
You're
this,
talking economically.
like restaurants, if you're in a restaurant business and if your restaurant is still open right now after 3 months of this, you'll be lucky to survive the rest of the year. If you're open right now, you've been blessed.
Let's say that we're able to pack them in every night, and get that full.
Yeah. I mean, there's been bars and there's also been gyms that have been closed since the middle of March. Even if they reopen for a few weeks, they've already been shut down.
Basically, what ends up happening collecting unemployment for no fault of their own. A lot of stuff. Whereas I think there is a compelling argument where many other countries have basically nationalized payroll. So they said, we're going to pay 80% wages until it's over, and your company, your effectively furloughed, are still on roll, of your company, but the federal government takes care of it.
See, that's where I think we messed up. We messed up with the unemployment system where all these large companies capitalized, like Walmart, Amazon, and we hurt all these small businesses. But if we had done something different, as in like maybe Walmart will survive and Amazon will survive, but Walmart, we could have closed the doors to Walmart and they still would have survived because they could have
Online.
re-engineered. They could have done online produce deliveries, just like restaurants were doing, like, Uber Eats, and like, we'll deliver the food for free. Like Walmart could have shifted gears, will close their doors, keep people safe, and started delivering all that produce. They're already delivering everything else. Like they could have provided jobs when everyone else was losing jobs, and they could have kept some of the smaller businesses open.
Take it dark, baby. Take it dark.
What I'm curious is, look at the model now. How, if you pick a handful of those, how do you think those are going to evolve in the next coming months, years? And I'll give you an example. So one of the things that always boggle my mind about like grocery stores is, any Kroger or whatever operates, whatever, really look at like the layout and like if their purpose is to basically stock inventory and monetize the industry. I feel that the grocery store layout is horribly inefficient. That's because all this vertical space that's not being used, and things like things that you're not stacking all of the up. I could see the grocery store experience evolving to a point where basically you drive up and whether it's a person going, doing all the shopping for you free, but now they're doing it more so on like warehouse inventory type, rack probably where you might actually have the grocery store shrink slightly and actually hold more inventory, but it's just not really scroll down the aisle shopping, like you can order it at home.
But you've got all these other, what's the company called that, they send you the exact ingredients you need to cook dinner every night.
Like Blue Apron.
Blue Apron, yes, thank you. Grocery stores could be doing this on their own. You don't need Blue Apron. Kroger could be doing this. Target could be doing this. And you're going to be attracting local business. For sure. I mean, they got the guy rolling sushi. Why can't you order some? Clay, do you know anybody who does meal prep?
Sunflower Catering is your go-to meal prep of the DFW area. Check out sunflowercatering.com. That's sunflowercatering.com on Instagram. Thank you for calling, and thank you for asking. That's FLOUR as a double entendre, as the cooking industry would suggest, flour instead of flour. That's sunflower, FLOUR, catering.com. Yeah, that's a good hot take there. I could see Kroger picking up for what they lose, and these things transitioning towards like some sort of like red box version of a grocery store where you just show, I want a dozen eggs, beep, boop, beep. And then it comes out of a big robot, slot there. You cut down on your overhead. You no longer have to have the guy that sprays down the cart before he gives it to you. I think we're looking at the VHS and the DVD store when we're looking at the current grocery store now that I come to think of it.
You wouldn't have to have that awkward conversation with the clerk. I was like, oh, where'd you get this? What are you gonna do with this? Oh, what are you cooking tonight?
Nunya.
What's your name?
This is a shallot, not an onion.
Yeah.
I know all you've ever eaten is a Funyun, but this is an onion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. We're growing more and more isolationist. We're going to be more selfish. We're going to stay home. We're going to have less human interactions.
Yeah, that's not healthy either. So it's a win-lose, lose-lose,
Oh,
win-win.
man. I was sad, man. Yeah,
Rent a buddy.
friend for hire. Yes, the year.
I would love to hear stories from an old man that lived through the Depression. I would almost pay for that. I would love for my kids to hear that, because my biggest childhood memory is sitting up late watching TV with my grandfather as he smoked a big old cigar, filling a room with smoke, killing me with a secondhand smoke, just telling me stories how he used just to whoop my dad's ass. I love that.
Oh, well, that's not good for
Wow.
the viewing experience. I'm sure it's being collected on the on the. Hey, they say do what you love and the money will follow. I don't know about that when the audience can't hear the live callers, but whatever. I don't know why. I can't imagine anything on my end. Hey, can you hear me? Is that different? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello?
We need a sound check guy.
Can you hear me now?
Did he call in today? Did he have
No,
COVID?
well, let's try that. Let me know, Lauren, if you can hear me. I pressed down the main mix button. Hello? What's good music, Shane?
What's good music?
I've been listening to some Oliver Tree. Let me know what you think about this.
Oliver Tree.
Hello?
Commercials.
Oh, condoms.
Two guys with condoms.
Oh, that's progressive right there. That wouldn't have been the case back in the Dizzy. Hey, Luke, can you hear us? I just like his hooks and his voice. Where do you get your news? Do you get your news anywhere, or you just keep your head out of it?
Keep my head out of it.
That way. Smart. I go Drudge Report, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I try to aggregate it all. It's not a good way to go. Luke, can you hear us? Hello, Luke, can you hear us?
Did we lose him? How do you know Luke?
He's my
Family?
brother.
Oh, he's your brother.
He's my brother.
Okay.
Hello, bro. Yeah, can you hear it?
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure what was on.
Wait, now can Lauren hear that?
Since we have to start everything over.
Yeah, okay. So everybody said what you just said. Now, I'm playing with the buttons now. Can we do a little test here? Can Lauren hear you right now? I've got the two main mix button depressed. What you got there? D-ant word?
Yes.
Dude, you
Do
told
you
me
like
that.
the word?
You
Banana
told-
brain?
You told me about that. Let's hear that.
B-I-E
Or
Double
what's
O.
it called?
banana brain.
Banana brain. Banana
Yeah.
brain.
Or the video, if you watch the video. Next one.
D-ant word. Grown Man Radio is brought to you by D-ant word. Banana brain.
Hell yeah. This is a great show. They are great and show.
We're flowing, baby. It can always be great. As long as it's just normal conversation, it's good. You get into trouble when everybody's like trying to front, as they say on the streets, trying to make shit up. If you just talk about what you actually want to talk about, it's all right.
Yeah.
That's the key. Bam, 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 bam. The aunt word. The aunt word. We've got Luke calling back. It's the aunt word. The aunt word. Banana brain. It's the aunt word. Luke Wanell coming to us from Lincoln Park. This is the Antwood Fan Club. Welcome to the Antwood Fan Club. This is Banana Brain Hour. Hello?
Did we scare him?
Hello? 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 Can you hear us now? Hello? Can you, could you not hear me just the music a minute ago? Okay, so now I'm talking right now.
South African, actually.
When I talk like this, but then I hit this button, I'm gonna hit this button in 3, 2, 1, you can no longer hear me. Can you confirm that? Hello, 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 Luke, you can no longer hear me. Hello, hello, hello. The secret word is poo poo caca. Can you confirm the secret word? Okay, the secret word was poo poo caca. And this musical break is brought to you by the N-word Banana Brain. We'll be back with Luke Winnell in 90 seconds.
Where's the Sheila? The
Do
head.
what?
The head.
Oh, you want to go pee-pee?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going back in here. Y'all think about it. What? Y'all think about it, let me know. I'm still live. I'm still live on the air. Well, I'll have some in a minute. All right. Oh, I almost had my sunglasses off for a minute. Be careful, be careful. Don't take your sunglasses off if you don't want to. It's Banana Brain D-ant word. You're on 88.1 WSBF FM Clemson spinoff show. It's Grown Man Radio coming to you live From the 1L Studios in friendly Bedford, Texas. You want a beer, bro?
Yeah, we got a
Yeah.
pizza delivery.
Oh, we got a pizza delivery coming to us live from Sunflower Catering. It's D Atward and Sunflower Catering. Sunflower Catering. Sunflower Catering. What? Yo, let's look at the pizza. Oh my, it's Sunflower Catering. Yum, yum, tasty treat. Is that something that you like to eat? Visit Sunflower Catering. Visit sunflowercatering.com. It's all Sunflower Catering. Not .gov, it's sunflowercatering.com. Coming to you live from hour 2 of the Grown Man Radio Show on WSBF FM Clemson. JK, it's an internet show.
See how things shop? You're talking about?
Totally, I totally give you a plus.
You know, put this on your Instagram or Facebook. Oh, things changed. What'd you say?
Yeah.
I asked Blake if anybody was doing meal prep.
Hello.
Yeah, he's like, do you know anybody that does meal prep for home catering? He's like, oh, yes, I do.
Hello. Ninja here. Hello, Luke. We're back from break in the 1L Studios from friendly Bedford, Texas. Melissa set us up with a delicious Sierra Nevada Torpedo Extra IPA. Are you drinking anything tonight, good sir? Or are you just drinking the truth that is H2O? Schweppes. Is that a flavored Schweppes or just bubbles? Flavor. What were you drinking earlier, Shane?
Basil Hayden dark rye and Canadian dry ginger ale.
Rye and dry. Yeah, I would think that the cell phone network version of DN Word would not be as favorable as through the 1L Studios from friendly Bedford, Texas.
Is that the music that
The Ghana Pole Bearers. Is that the one where they've been putting like Joe Biden memes together? Where it's like womp ba da da, and they dance down the street.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a cool little internet phenomenon. So let's see if we can pull it up to educate Mr. Shane here. They call those Ghanan pole bearers.
I feel like I'm at the dinner table with my kids and they're talking about, and I don't have anything. I don't have a clue they're talking about.
Okay, here we go.
There's some ice cream.
Oh, we got ice cream now in the 1L Studios from friendly Bedford, Texas. Shout out to Trader Joe's Hold the Cone ice cream cones, chocolate chip experiences.
What about me?
We've got 2 cones, one for myself and our guests tonight. Help yourself if you're so inclined.
I will indulge.
As we, I think like a show in which we just look through the internet together, and if I could have like a shared screen, if I ever pull up an internet show, people would watch that. If people are watching people play video games, why would you not watch someone go down a YouTube rabbit hole? And speaking of which, do you guys ever go down YouTube rabbit holes as we look at the Ghana pallbearers dancing to Astronomia 2K20?
I get sucked in like Alice in Wonderland.
So you got to watch these fellas.
So on the ice cream, do you lick or bite?
I bite. It's not. So look at these guys. Someone just died and they're having such a nice time that it's like, this is how I want my funeral to be. I want to be dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
And people are like, we're going to have a nice time. So watch this. Yes. How about that energy, dude? Yeah, I'm dead. Whatever. I mean, sooner or later, the worms are going to get you. And I feel like that's been part of what COVID has reminded me, is that sooner or later, every time you've ever been embarrassed or feel like you've done the wrong thing or made a mistake, eventually it's going to be completely forgotten by everyone that's ever known you. So why worry about it? Not that you're going to try to be an asshole, but if you make a mistake here and there, just keep moving. Try to do better next time.
I have a 3-day rule.
Uh-huh.
If you fuck up and you make a mistake, more than likely you're gonna be over it in 3 days. If you're not,
Where you messed up for more than 3 days and you had to take additional action.
I mean, a drug relapse, but that's different.
That is different. It's not like an interpersonal thing.
I mean, if you can't get over it in 3 days, you need to reassess your life. You need to move on. It's life. Keep going forward. Don't live in the past.
Dude,
Hakuna Matata.
speaking of Hakuna Matata, I watched a great film last night, Interstellar. Have you guys watched Interstellar?
No.
With Matthew McConaughey? My God.
I did watch a Matthew McConaughey movie last night.
What'd you watch?
Bernie.
Bernie. Yeah, well, it resonates so deeply. It seems like you're seeing something that might be behind the curtains of like reality. But Shane said he saw Bernie last night, which, I got to pull up the Love Lifted Me song.
So Bernie, interesting fact, takes place in Carthage, Texas, Panola County, where I was born.
This is where you're born?
Yeah, Panola County, Carthage.
Sorry, Luke, we're going to talk over you for a minute. I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, buried deeply within, reaching to rise no more.
East Texas Pine Curtain.
I'm the master of the sea, tearing away. Oh, lifted me now safe and dry. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When nothing else could happen. Love lifted me. Oh, love lifted me. Have you seen Bernie, Luke? No, the movie. It's an excellent Jack Black movie. He plays a mortician in East Texas.
In the great, from the town of Carthage, Texas.
Where you're from.
I was born there.
My God. So growing up in Carthage.
I didn't grow up there. I was only born there.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm reminded every time I drive through it.
Where'd you move from?
No, Mineral Wells is west of Fort Worth. Carthage is east in the Great Pine Curtain, the Green Pine Curtain. Longview, east of Tyler, south of Longview, or somewhere around there.
The best part of that movie, well, there's many great parts of that movie, but they talk about the various regions of Texas, and they say, well, there's the Great Pine Curtain, and then you got Dallas with all your
They're like Panhandle.
Mercedes-Benz
Nothing to the
snobs.
Panhandle.
You got the carcinogenic coast. You got the People's Republic of Austin. And
Yeah. Did you watch this just like a minute ago, or how do you?
I don't know. I've seen the movie a bunch of times.
Wow. You knew the song, so I'm in.
Love lifted me. We used to, we went to a wedding one time where there was this dude that looks exactly like Bernie. My God, some ladies mess with your phone, so no more videos coming through IG Live still is kind of there. I don't know. Is that you, 937? No, you're 973. Hello.
So my mother's aunt went to church with Bernie.
Really?
She knew him.
Okay. And she loved Bernie. She wouldn't have been
Loved
on a
him.
jury to convict him.
Loved him. No, loved him. It's a real
Yeah,
person.
for
Yeah,
sure.
he's really in prison for shooting that old lady.
They had to move the trial because he was so popular.
Yeah. He would have been acquitted.
I feel like that if you're already if you've already achieved that level of fame in your community, you should get a free pass. You get one, yeah. Second one's going to cost you double, but you get one free, given the context. You know, if you're some sort of Epstein character, you don't get the context.
Yeah, if we find out all 25 at one, you don't get the free pass.
But there should.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Luke, where are you from, Luke? You're in New Jersey?
Well, we grew up in Ohio, and now my dear brother is in New Jersey, about 90 minutes from New York City.
Luke, how do you feel about ice and beer? This is a real topic here in Texas. It's hot.
Well, these
People
were hot
do it
beers.
all the time. Yeah. Why does Clay not keep his beer in the fridge?
That is the real question.
Where are his priorities?
Honestly, can I explain why the beers are not in the refrigerator?
As long as it's only your fault. Don't blame it on, don't put it on somebody else.
No. No, it's not that. It's literally, I am so busy, not busy like every minute of every, like mentally, I'm always trying to think about how in the hell I can carve my own path in creating my own little business where I can work from home and make enough money to create the sort of lifestyle that I aspire to live. And so little mundane things like putting the damn beers in the refrigerator get put on the wayside, because that was from a barbecue we had on July 4th where the beers got put on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Why are the beers are put on top of the refrigerator, not in it?
Because, well, at the time, the refrigerator was full of delicious sunflower catering food. And then I never had the presence of mind to move that into the fridge, because I think I'm so lazy and so like lost in my own thoughts.
You know, we need a refrigerator in the studio.
We do need that. Now that little
Why can't we have a kegerator in here?
This right here is an ice pail right here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's for sale. Everything's for sale in the 1L Studios. We have a bowling ball ice pail here. It's a BS.
Thing off to your right hand, that like black magic thing that has the 5 colors. That
Oh.
should be your beer. Be able to reach into that.
Yeah.
I gotta fix the
Magic.
light. I gotta get some more light on Shane's face over here. This is unfair here.
I have been working on my tan. Now I'm darker though, I think.
It's all about diffused lighting, and these are very cheap lights from Amazon. But if you're looking to build your own home studio here to have a live caller based internet show that people can't hear the live caller, I recommend trying out these lights that you can find for $20, $30 on Amazon. I can't believe, have we confirmed that we still cannot hear you on the YouTube machine?
I can hear it.
Interesting.
What am I hearing? What am I hearing?
You're
delay
hearing
on?
us, but not Luke. And the reason for that is because I don't know. But if I hit this button, I'm going to say, hi, Luke, you can talk to me now. But as soon as I hit this button, you can't hear me anymore. La, 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 la. And now you can hear me again. Damn it. Usually it works without a problem.
We need more feedback. We need more listeners.
We do need more data here. I mean, I don't think anybody else is listening. That's the problem. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Why not? Yeah, it is kind of weird that you're in the middle. I like having sort of a middle brother right now. I like that. I like that. We have some knowledge to gain from Shane. the 38-year-old.
Yeah, I may not have the world knowledge, and I may not be up to beat on the world news, but I got a lot of life experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so I was thinking about
The
doing
fact that I'm 38 with two 17-year-olds, it's a big question. How did I do that?
That is impressive.
And they're 4 months apart. How did I do that?
4 months?
Yeah.
That is extra impressive.
I had a child at the age of 21.
So
The drink or the child first? I took the purple pill. I was doing many illegal substances at the age of 13.
So this is a question.
Yes.
Well, now he's like extra responsible. He's got a garden and he's got a nice
I
job and
go on walks.
he goes on walks. He prioritizes exercise and rest and hitting his macros in his diet.
I count my macros and do the whole keto. I got a 6-pack, baby.
My question to you is this, Shane. We're going to get into the deep end right here,
Let's
right
do
now.
it.
So I was going to do a
Jump in.
1-minute podcast with people. That was my new vision. I was going to just drive around and talk to people. It's like everybody has had experiences, everybody has learned something thus far in life. If you were on your deathbed and you had 1 minute to tell the world something, what would you say? What would you say to people given your experience thus far?
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs
Don't do drugs.
of any kind.
None. Life itself is so great. Enjoy it pure. Don't have kids till you're 35. And enjoy being a child and cherish those moments because that's the best time of your life. Everyone wants to grow up so quick. And you realize long after it's gone, those were the best moments of your life. Just cherish for what the simple things are. They're, break it down. It's life is simple. You do what you love and you love what you do. If you're not doing that, you got it all wrong.
Is that 100% honest?
Yeah, that's what I live.
You would never encourage someone to taste the delicious Jack and Coke or to have a experience that might be semi-illegal in certain states.
Well, you would need to sit down and talk to me about that first, and that would be a lot more than a minute.
Okay, that's fair.
I would say never do hallucinogenics, never play with the powder. I mean, as soon as you dip into any drugs, I would just say don't do drugs. Simple, don't do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't do drugs.
Luke, if you had to tell your truth in 60 seconds, what would you say given your experience?
It's interesting to hear you say that you set out to make this customer's day, and you plan your day. It's like I can plan my day, but it never goes the way I plan. The more I plan, the more it goes the other way. So I have learned to just live at the moment.
prepared for a variety of different scenarios, so I try to think that out. I'm gonna try this line in the back, if that doesn't work, I need to go this out, if I need to have to go this one. So I try to do a little bit of prep work, otherwise, get those out things don't happen.
Right. I mean, I guess my world and your world is completely different because I deal with a different clientele, and the fact that I know who's going to walk through my door, but I don't know what kind of day they're having. I don't know what they're going to need unless they've took the time to have their assistant call me ahead of time and let me know. But yeah, I fly, but so you should have a birthday list. Today's so-and-so's birthday. Because I learned this, from an individual. Today's his birthday. Jay Watson. Happy birthday, Jay Watson.
Jaybird.
You fly by the seat of your pants. It's like,
That's his line.
welcome to Wally's world, flying by the seat of our pants.
Okay.
How can I help you?
That was his famous line. Yeah.
Because that's the way we operate some days.
Well, at a fancy golf course that will remain unnamed for everyone's sake, it is a bit of a crapshoot in terms of trying to thread the needle on any given day.
When everybody already has everything, what do you do for them? What do you give them? That's my biggest challenge every day.
Well, you got to give them that personal.
Even as a caddy,
You got to give them
how do you comp that?
You have to connect with them as a person because everybody.
As a real person.
Real
not
talk.
Not a fake person.
That's hard.
That's a real person.
That's challenging
because they deal with fake people every day.
Well, that requires that you are comfortable in who you are.
Yeah.
And that requires that you've been on a journey, and that requires that you've made a lot of mistakes and you've recognized what works and what doesn't work. And then you put that through the filter of that starts going into your personality, and then you've taken some risks within your personality and said some stuff that you probably shouldn't have said, but then sometimes it works. And then you said some stuff that you probably shouldn't have said and it doesn't work, and you're like, oh God, that was a bad mistake. But then you got to keep going back to the well and using your little bit of personality to stand out. And hopefully you can find that right balance where you can be respectful of their time and your time. You don't feel subservient. You don't feel like you're sort of bowing at the feet and kissing their feet, but you're taking pride in your job as someone who is in the service industry. And you can also connect with that individual about something else, music or pop culture or politics, weather, sport, something that you both have in common where you can speak one or two levels of, disconnect beyond the normal, just blah, 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 nice weather we're having.
Right.
And if you can actually connect, that was something that I was struck by when you had those parties back in the day, because you had folks show up in the Maseratis and the Bugattis and the Porsches. You're not a rich
in the ghetto.
You're not a rich man. You had a shitty little house, but
when you have to cone off the street to park the Porsches, and the Maseratis, in the ghetto, you're doing something right.
You are making a real connection when people make an effort.
Yeah.
When people make an effort to be there, that means that
when they want to come say goodbye to their friends who aren't nobody.
Yeah. That means you're doing something right. And if you can figure that out, that's pretty impressive. And then you don't feel like you're, the butler. You don't feel like you're the bootlicker. You are on equal playing field. When you see that person, you're like, hey man, what's up? Good, legitimately good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, it's not fake.
It's not that I don't want you to bring me a handle of the finest spirits every time we see each other, but I wouldn't be offended if you did.
Yeah. We've got to get more sponsors on the show.
Yeah, we do. And it's a long. Fill it up. Yeah, you got to sell the green screen space like back in the day when they sold those like pixels for $1 a piece on that.
Why can't we get some, Southern glaziers up in here?
Because I'm not a good businessman. I'm more of like a big picture sort of creative guy. If I could find somebody that would help me out with some business stuff, that'd be cool. Jessica Fancher says someone's sending some Matthew McConaughey vibes over there. Heyo! I love your pickles, by the way, Jessica. My God.
Did you like those?
I'll tell you what I thought about the pickles. I'll give you an honest pickle review. The pickles were not very salty.
Shouldn't be.
All I've ever had is like massive store-bought pickles.
Those are trash.
Which I'm starting to understand.
Have you
right?
ever had a homegrown strawberry?
Yes, and from the
Because
Sunflower.
strawberries from the
brought to you by
store.
SunflowerCatering.com.
The strawberries from the store are shit.
Yeah, they're GMO.
If you've never had a homegrown strawberry fresh picked, you've never had a strawberry. So if you've never had homemade pickles, you've never had a pickle.
Fair. Based on what I ate, it wasn't flavorful. It was not flavorful. Not that I'm complaining. I'm trying to be an objective voice in the world of fellow foodies.
Next time, we will send you home with some Kool-Aid flavored pickles.
Oh,
Because the spicy fruit punch is the secret.
okay. They're better pickles than I could make. They're, yes. Yes. It's a different reality.
Yeah, I'm hitting walls. I'm having restrictions.
I think it boils down to, are you afraid of getting stuck with a $70,000 medical bill or not? Is that an issue for you?
I find it easier to entertain people because they can't go out and go anywhere else other than come see me.
You're the only show in town.
There was a time that I was the only show in town, but as things get a little easier, people get more comfortable, or they have more fear. Well, then they won't even come see me, or they won't walk through my area.
Yeah, I think my experience is just that. The guys that are afraid of getting sick and having to go to the hospital and figuring out a way to pay for the hospital bill are afraid of that. And the folks that if they do happen to get sick and they have to spend a week in there and it just comes out of whatever, the employment-based health care, and you don't have a big copay, or what's the word? You don't have a big deductible. Yeah.
I have been in situations where people that I do not know and normally would not speak to come up to me, say at the gym or the blacktop where I work out behind the elementary school in Stonegate. People are looking to have conversations. They're looking to have relations. They're looking for someone to talk to.
Because they're stuck inside.
Yeah,
So have you taken the opportunity to connect with people like
for
that?
sure. At a distance, but yeah.
But like
And you have to have your guard up. You're like, who is this person really? But, in the end, if you believe in there are good people, there are good people.
do you think most people are good?
No.
What do you think the percentage is?
People equal shit.
Slipknot.
Thank you.
People equal.
No. Yeah, it is. And people do equal shit. There are more shitty people. There's a lot of people out there in bad situations, and it's not all their fault.
Yeah, take away all the nonsense. If it hadn't been for all the unfortunate stuff that happened to people, do you think most people would be good?
People in general, yeah. We're people. But a lot of people out there, but how many people are going to stop and help out the old lady with a flat tire?
Not me,
There you go.
but you would. I could see you doing that.
Given the opportunity, yeah, I would.
If I saw it was an old lady and it was convenient for me, I would, but I would not.
I say I would, but I don't know that.
I would not blast past, take the next exit, loop
No,
around, and
no.
then double check that it was an old lady.
But say if you're in Kroger and someone can't reach the top shelf of something they want, would you help them?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me good.
That's awesome. I'm a big believer in the more you give, the more you receive. And whatever you give is what you're going to receive. So if you give a bunch of shit to people, you're in line to get your ass kicked. But if you give the world your best,
I think that's.
you're only going to receive other people's best.
I think that is a lot of my problem. As I sit here and I try to figure out how I carve my own path, it's like I've been very selfish. And so if you can try to put out more than you take, I totally agree. Isn't there some sort of biblical verse that you get some sort of percentage back for whatever you give? Not that you're doing it for that purpose, but that you get some sort of multiple of whatever you give.
I was taught at a very young age by my grandmother, driving me back from a summer vacation one day, or she pulled over behind this car that was broke down. She's like, me and my brother's named Dallas. She's like,
That's a grown name.
boys, we're gonna get out. They got a flat tire. You're gonna learn how to change a flat tire. And my grandmother didn't have to make us. We helped this stranger change their flat tire. The more you give, the more you receive. And that was at a very young age that I started to learn that lesson. So I've been practicing this most of my life. But if you start late,
And have a good jack. If you have a good jack, you can get in and out of a tire change situation in like 90 seconds.
oh yeah, it's quick. Oh yeah, for leverage.
Wait.
Leverage.
I understand. So let me paint a picture. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're having to jump on it.
Okay. Yeah.
But you have to watch out for them people that carry a 2-foot piece of pipe in their trunk. Do they have duct tape? Well, do they have duct tape? Do they have plastic sheeting? Do they have knives? What else they got in their trunk? They have rope? Better watch out. What's that guy's name?
Dexter?
Thank you.
That was a decent show. I didn't like the lady. The lady bothered me on that show.
His partner, that
No, it's like sister.
oh yeah,
That actress was just annoying to me. But yeah, we watched Interstellar last night. We loved Interstellar. Oh my goodness, so cool. She likes the movie. She gets it. She understands the gist. You know, it's not her cup of tea. Her favorite movie of all time is Almost Famous, which I was the first watcher of the other day. I thought that was pretty incredible. Have you guys seen Almost Famous? No Kevin Spacey in it. It's about a young fella that was writing for Rolling Stone when he was 15 years old, traveling with bands.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
And
Okay, I understand.
I was just struck by the young man's performance. I talked about it on our show the other night, but I was struck by just the eye contact that the actor was portraying. That they say everything in a movie is pretty much intentional. They're trying to recreate something as accurately as they can. And so if it's true that this 15-year-old was maintaining eye contact with these famous people in the way that he was, given my understanding of interactions with famous people and the jobs that I've worked, it's impressive that that person had the presence of mind to be so confident and to stare, you know, so directly into the soul of, you know, a Jimi Hendrix or someone from the Avett Brothers or whoever is this super rock star band coming through, and he just wanted to know about their story. And I thought that was pretty cool. And just the story arc of the movie I thought was pretty neat. But our family video, our local family video is finally dead.
Did you get did you get on the liquidation?
We got some DVDs, but we bought a couple. But man, that's terrible. That was the last little
That's
DVD.
why I went to Marco's to get a free movie.
You get a free
rental.
movie? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy a pizza, they give you a free rental. You go next door, you pick out your movie, or deliver it to you, and you get a free movie. So we went there. Was it last night? Yeah, liquidation. Like,
Brutal.
you get five movies for $10.
I was telling someone the other
That's
day.
where I got Bernie.
Really? Okay. I was telling someone the other day, Luke, when you had your ACL surgery, I remember Dad came home with a stack of DVDs. Do you remember any of the DVDs that were in that stack from your couple days at home there, couple weeks at home?
And anesthesia is the closest thing to date rape you could experience.
Is that right?
It's terrible.
Stay
That's
away
the
from
worst.
that.
That's the worst drug I've ever done.
I remember that. That was one of those, like they say, it's like a flashbulb memory or whatever you're always going to remember. It's like 9/11 and the stack of DVDs going to Luke after the ACL surgery. Because Luke had a couple of inopportune injuries in high school, one of which was a fall off of a second-story banister onto the railing the night or the day of a WWF wrestling match. Am I getting this correct, Luke?
It's like an episode of Jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
And then the nurse asked if those were your teeth as opposed to someone else's teeth that she found on the floor. Is this sir? My God, where were we going with that again?
Talk about movies. I got Boondock Saints for $2 at Family Video. $2, man. That's a great buy.
You say the rule of thumb, but they say they know the rule of thumb was to beat the women with a stick of less than a thumb.
So, and I noticed you host trivia night.
Yeah, occasionally.
I want to volunteer my wife to play.
Oh, sweet.
I want to sponsor her to play because she knows the shit out of everything.
She's a mile wide, inch deep kind of person.
She knows the name, the voice, the sound, the song name, the album title, everything.
Damn, she might be a mile wide and mile deep kind of person.
She knows it all.
Damn, son. All right. Yeah, we did quarantine tonight as a, we had these drops. So when we would have quarantine tonight, we'd be like, and then I'd be like, tonight we have Shane Fancher coming to us from, where are you from, Shane? I guess you were conceived in Carthage, home of Bernie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. And on the phone, we got Luke Winnell. Turns out he busted his tooth out on a railing, and the nurse asked him if it was his own tooth. What a stupid moron. Luke, welcome to the Grown Man Radio Show. Yeah, that's sort of how we do it. And then at the end of the show, we have a little theme song. It goes like this.
And is that you?
No, that's my buddy Phil Seagram, the house band of Quarantine Tonight.
Are they out tonight? They call out sick?
COVID
pay?
No. It's a different show. This is Grown Man Radio. So it's all under 1L Studios, but Grown Man Radio is a separate entity of Quarantine Tonight. We're building a media company.
I gotta get the syllabus or the
It's very confusing. You should not.
Yeah,
you should not be upset by not understanding.
But so I want to. Can I like introduce a new
train of thought?
Yeah.
Can we listen to this real quick?
Yeah.
We have a new train of thought brought to you by Shan Fancher, sponsored by sunflowercatering.com. What's your new train of thought, Ollie Plays Golf, sunflower.com?
I'm going to introduce Random Man.
Random Man, okay.
The random, useless information.
Let's spill it out. What kind of random, useless information do you have for us?
I'm looking at your world map.
World map.
On the wall, behind the lights.
Yeet.
So if you look at Greenland, which is not actually that size, it looks to be the same size. On your map, Greenland is mapped out to be the same size or close to South America. That is incorrect.
I have heard that there's a bit of a distortion the further you get from the equator.
Well, do you
have one of those maps that shows like Kazakhstan,
Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world.
So South America is actually 10 times the size of Greenland. Do you know why the map looks like that?
Because it's a sphere, and you're trying to put it onto a...
No, it's a little thing we call white privilege.
Oh, Nikes.
Yeah, it's a little thing that America does.
Explain. Well, I've always wondered why America's like front and center, top left.
Yeah.
Because, that's where you look first, obviously.
We're going to use Google for a reference. You can do Google Maps.
Okay.
And then do Google Earth and compare the two.
Between those two maps, isn't that the standard map that everybody uses?
Just use Google twice. Google Earth and Google Maps do not match.
What are you talking about? I don't understand. You want me to keep zooming?
Keep zooming. Go all the way out.
That looks the same to me.
Where's Greenland?
Oh God. Greenland.
Greenland. It's where the North Pole is, the Arctic Ocean.
Greenland. Okay. Yeah, it looks the same. Oh, I mean, it's nowhere as big. Is that the point you're trying to make?
Look at Google Earth.
I'm on Google.
You're on Google Maps.
Oh man, it's different than Google Maps.
Come on, Luke, support me on this.
Google Earth. What is the conspiracy here? Hello, Luke, you're just breathing into the screen.
Sorry.
This is Dianwell, I think you freaky.
I just want everyone to know that Greenland is not as big as the map says it is. Random, but it's a fact.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. Bad boys. And I think a lot.
It's a tenth of the size of South America.
Okay.
It's a tenth. Do you see it?
Yeah, it's about the size.
Of Texas.
I would disagree with that.
No?
I would say it's
A little
the
bit bigger than
size
Texas.
of roughly the East Coast down to Florida.
But it's a tenth of the size of South America.
Yeah, in this particular map, it looks like it's the same size as South America, but it's proportionately about the size of Maine down to Florida.
So I got some trivia here. I've been fascinated with Pitcairn Island.
What is that?
Where's that?
The inhabitants of this island nation are from the original the mutiny on the Bounty.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
So every single person that lives on the island is like direct descendant from that whole situation, and they are the least populous nation in the entire world, and their combined GDP is $217,000.
Oh my God.
And a couple
What are they doing? Like having a bunch of garage sales or something?
There was a weird situation there where a lot of the male inhabitants were involved in like metal pornography, and so they had to bring in like a British judge, like from UK, so and they required all the inhabitants of the island to turn in their weapons because they were worried about the judge getting murdered and all this out there in the middle of the Pacific.
What's the name of the islands again?
And when you look at pictures of it, it doesn't really look like a particularly gorgeous place, right?
Okay, so we're looking due west from
Patagonia.
Puerto Flamenco, Chile.
Yeah, Chile.
We're going, God, that's got to be 500 miles at least, out to the Pitcairn Islands. And if we can get some sort of satellite view, let's see if we can like see what kind of infrastructure we're working with here. Usually it's on the coasts, right?
I think there's approximately 50 residents.
50, okay, wow, okay.
How do you even get there? Just by boat.
And which imperial power lays claim to this island, or are they independent?
Well, the Bounty ship was an HMS, had ship, so I think that they sort of laid claim to it.
I see a trail blazed inland about, a quarter mile that looks like a kind of a main route, but certainly no cars or anything. Are they saying that there's like at least a town on this island?
I think it's a chain of 4 different islands, and I think that they do have some degree of tourism. So it's gotta be something.
Change your look at it.
Yeah, let me see if I can do map view. Oh, it's super interesting. Oh, here we go. You got to go to, so there's a main island Henderson Island is like barren. But then you go over to a much smaller island. It's like a tenth of the size, and it's called Pitcairn Island. And then all of a sudden you got Google pop-ups
With
with
roads and
we got
businesses.
roads and museums and wow. Let's look at this on satellite here.
Did you say museums?
Huh?
How they gonna have a museum?
Exactly. I mean, it's amazing. All this stuff is on Google. Let's see what the Place Pitcairn
I love
Chalet.
I love random knowledge.
4.2 stars for the Pla Pitcairn Chalet. I got a nice view out there.
I mean, how far is that
Dude,
broken
look at
out?
that view. And that chick is just sucking down a Topo Chico like it's no big
The
deal.
Topo Chico makes it all the way out there?
Ranch water, bro.
Oh man.
Is ranch water the best cocktail out there right now? in these?
Less Coca-Cola, you know, for buying ranch for Topo Chico and we put it on the island.
Wow, this is like a
How
real
much does that
life,
cost?
like, I wonder if there's, I always look and see if there's a golf course on these islands. I don't think there is on this one.
So I guess it's not but not to be confused with the
We could,
Island.
with the numbers, we could take it over.
The Pitcairn Islands, I would like to see the manager. Hang on, let me give that its proper justice here. The Pit, what did you say, Luke?
Oh, I said, you know, not to be confused with the Pitcairn Island.
Hey!
What would a male parent be called?
Daryl.
Or Bob. I don't know.
I would assume maybe at a golf course, and deal with that on a.
Yeah, a
Bob.
male Karen.
Bob.
I mean, you can call it whatever it was. Back in the day, on the early roots of Grown Man Radio, we had something called a Daryl scale. It was like D1 to D5. If you were really being a pain in the ass, you were a D5 Daryl. So it was like similar to the Karen. So on a golf course, if you're a D5 Daryl, you come into the pro shop and I say, hey, how's it going? Welcome out. We're on the twilight rate right now at Golf Club of Dallas, and that's going to be $20 plus tax for you to play 18 holes. And then you would fire back at me. It's usually 15. And I would say, interesting. I'll certainly honor whatever we've done in the past. But as long as I've lived here, or as long as I've worked here, it's been $20 plus tax. And then you would say, that's bullshit. I pay $15 plus tax to play golf here. And then it's just sort of a back and forth. That's the closest male Karen experience I've had.
When did the golf club experience turn into a hackling, negotiating yard sale?
I mean, everybody wants to have a nice experience, but not pay for it, I guess.
Wow.
Did they go play like 6 holes?
Yeah, sort of a prorated deal. And yeah, we kick you out after 3 holes. 3 holes is $9.
Well, how much can I get for one hole? How much is one hole?
Hey, 1 hole, honestly, if you want to play just 1 hole, I'll let you play for free.
Can I get a lesson?
If you want a lesson, you got to pay for it. But like, if you just want to play 1 hole and see if you
how much
like
for
golf,
how much for one hole?
1 hole market rate should be free. If you want to play the second hole, then you got to pay $100.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to commit. Yeah,
Tell the audience about that private golf course. Somebody owns it, and there was a bunch of exotic animals that may or may not have been talking to.
Oh yeah, we went to this that golf course that we used to work at together, that fancy one. There was this guy that had this ranch in East Texas, and it was surrounded by big game fence. And we got out there, and you know, it's the cart barn guys. These are folks making minimum wage, maybe a couple of dollars above minimum wage, and hunters, Texans, people that are, just normal dudes, and they've all of a sudden got this opportunity to hunt some real serious game. Like we've got an opportunity to hunt some
Red stag.
New Zealand red deer, for instance. Like this is a game that you would not encounter in Oak Cliff, for instance. And so we've got some guys that all of a sudden are out in this preserve, this little, maybe we'll call it, what do you think, 1,000-acre preserve?
Easy.
Yeah. And your chances of
That's a
encountering
good number.
a New Zealand red deer are much higher. And, I was closing the golf shop that particular day. And so we closed the golf shop and we hightail it out to East Texas to go join up with the rest of the guys. And we were listening to a CD. I remember we were still listening to CDs at the time. That helps date our experience. And some kid had burned a CD and it was full of like early emo music. And I thought I was cool at the time. And I was maybe drinking in the front seat. And I was sort of in the co-pilot position and I thought I was being cool. And I took the CD out of the CD player and threw it out the window. And not to be a dick, but I was like, that music's terrible. We're not going to listen to that anymore. But it was a burned CD. It was not something that was purchased.
So it was stolen, pirated.
I was getting the universe back to neutral, really, for the indiscretion that young man put upon it. So then we get out to this ranch in East Texas and we roll up in one of those rental, like 16-passenger vans, and the lights are shining on this garage. And then my vision goes from, wow, what a beautiful estate, a stunning estate, as Tim Dillon says. And then I look over to the left and I see this massive monster of an animal, probably from head to butt. Twist that little knob on there if you want to twist it up. From head to butt, this animal is 10 feet tall. And
It's bigger than that.
if I had to guess, 900 pounds. It's like the largest animal I've seen outside of a zoo. And this thing is strung up. And one of these gentlemen, wonderful American, that's making, $9.50 an hour, all of a sudden shot an animal market value that's like $17,000 on this employee appreciation outing. And it's like, well, thanks for the opportunity to come out to your cool ranch. And thanks for letting us tag your $17,000 prize deer. And we're going to process that and enjoy the jerky.
I heard a story about.
Does he have to pay taxes on that?
You should probably have to fill out,
Deer, does he have to pay taxes?
you probably have to fill out paperwork. for
Not
that.
even sure you had a tag.
Well, it's probably private land. It's a whole different program, right? If you pay for the animal, do you have to go through the
You
government?
can hunt on private land without a license.
If I buy a goldfish, I give you permission to hunt that goldfish in my house without paperwork.
I heard through the grapevine from a friend about a similar location, just like you're talking about. This gentleman apparently had drank way too much whiskey, and he was riding shotgun on a four-wheeler, just chasing down animals, firing an AR-15. I'm like, what kind of crazy people do that?
Texans.
That's right.
Good time in Texans. That's part of what makes America awesome. There's not that many countries that still do that. We're still the wild west, baby.
He claimed it was a great time.
I mean, if you think about it,
America is the best country in the United States.
Texas is the best country in the United States.
I've not heard that before, and that is very funny. I like that.
Texas is a great country.
I truly believe that. I feel like Texas is like a mini Russia. Like I feel like all of Russia is Texas, basically. And Russia maybe is 10 times more badass.
We got all these these micro environments, like all these.
Yeah.
We got desert, we got snow, we got.
Have you been up to
tornadoes,
West
hurricanes.
Texas?
I love the Guadalupe Mountains. I will drag your ass up a mountain.
You've
Clay.
been, I know, that was
The,
early
the,
on.
the highest peak in Texas is in West Texas.
And is that
The Guadalupe National Park.
is that a
Right.
5,000 foot mountain?
85.
Oh, okay.
86.
It's a legitimate mountain.
Yeah, it's a legitimate mountain.
So you can have snow
You
on
can
that.
see it from like 50 miles.
Above the golf course
It is no joke of a hike though. Only 4 miles. You start at 4,500 and you end up at like 86. And like, so you're climbing 4,000 feet in 4 miles. It is no joke, dude.
Okay. I'm down.
It can take you anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to get up and down. It's a full day.
That doesn't scare me as much as like 6 days. The idea of having to be overnight is what scares me. I hate camping.
But I have camped on top of that mountain before. It is great.
Like top, or a little bit down from the top.
You're sitting 700 feet below the top.
And it's chilly.
Where you're allowed to camp.
Chilly.
I got caught in a hailstorm on top of the mountain.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was like 65 degrees.
And you're by yourself?
I had my son and a good friend with me.
But no, where's the closest person? How far away?
The closest store is a good 40 miles.
So the closest individual, as far as you know, is
Well, they have a, it's a national park. They have a command center or central headquarters or souvenir shop, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's other people on the mountain.
so that's my most isolated feeling ever was when I was ice fishing with my Uncle Dave up in Canada. And in the middle of February in Ontario, we took our snowmobiles a good hour and 15 minutes out into the wilderness. And then halfway up, you crossed sort of the last little vestige of humanity. This, they call it like the indigenous people of Canada. You cross this little tribe. And then from there, it's like another 30 to 45 minutes on a snowmobile by yourself into nothingness. And the guy we were with, Big John, kept a rifle with him just in case he saw wolves. And when you caught your fish, you'd go up onto the shore and you would carve out this little thing in the woods and start a fire. And the fire would start this natural amphitheater where it would kind of melt the snow back
Hell
away.
yeah.
It was so awesome. And you'd fry the fish up on a cast iron skillet over an open fire, and you'd make this awesome shore lunch. But that was the most isolated that I've ever felt. It was like a good 45 minutes of hauling ass on a snowmobile from the closest person, let alone like a real hospital would have been maybe a 3-hour helicopter ride away. So have you had experiences where you've been like that, where you're like ultra isolated?
So I've been to Guadalupe National Park, Guadalupe Mountains National Park twice. And the first time I went with friends, second time I went by myself. And I did the whole McKittrick Canyon Ridge. So it's full on backcountry. You gotta get your backcountry permit. I mean, it's, you're going 7 miles up a mountain into the canyon, and then it's 15 miles one day, 15 miles out. I didn't see one person for like 25 miles. I mean, you're so far out there, and like, I have a destination picked. I'm trying to get as far as I can the first day because I want to return the second day back to civilization. And I'm pushing myself way too hard. And the sun's already set. And I'm like, I'm 2 miles, a mile and a half maybe from the campsite I'm trying to get to. But it's dark now. So I got my headlamp on, and the trail has gone from actual trail to, backcountry. And now I'm on rock, so the trail is no longer a beaten path. You can't beat down rock. There's no trail. So I get my map and my compass, and I'm heading this direction, and out of nowhere, it's cloud. So I'm sitting at like 8,200 feet on top of this backcountry mountain. Out of nowhere, this cloud rolls in. I'm just engulfed in this cloud. I can't see shit. Even with my headlamp, the headlamp's just reflecting light. It's not raining, but it's just cloud. I'm like, I'm in a cloud. I can't see where I'm going. I can't see 4 feet in front of me. That's pretty isolated.
So what do? You just had to sit down and wait for it to pass?
No, it's nighttime. It's time to go to bed. I dropped my shit, put up my tent. At that point, I was lost. I couldn't even find the trail because the cloud is so dense. I can't see 4 feet in front of me. I don't know where I'm going.
Were you scared?
No, I was exhausted. Not
Too
scared at all.
tired to be scared?
Yeah. So I dropped my pack, put up my tent. I'm so tired. I don't even eat dinner that night. And I go to sleep. Rough night of sleep because I'm in a cloud. It sounds like it's raining all night because rain is, it's the condensation is just collecting on my tent and it's just wet and whatnot. And I wake up like, I don't know, 5 a.m., open the tent, the cloud's still there. I can't see anything still. So I close it up, start brewing coffee, make some oatmeal, check my map, pull up my GPS. I'm not far off the trail, but I still can't see anything because the cloud's still there. I'm hoping this cloud just blows over, it goes away. 6:30, the sun's up, the cloud finally starts burning off. I'm like, okay, now I gotta find the trail. I'm literally 10 feet from the trail that I was lost on the night
Oh,
before.
damn.
Yeah, the cloud was so dense I couldn't see anything. That's pretty isolated, and there ain't no one out there to help you. There is no, well, I'll just go home now. No, you're stuck there. You got to figure it out.
So I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I found a guy on YouTube that I really have a lot of respect for. Avid outdoorsman, and his passion is really trying to help find so what he's got to say is he knows like every aspect about everything that we research, down to he's a very matter of fact guy, and he's got some very entertaining videos that he does. But what he's doing is trying to find patterns like this. I really think you guys will find it fascinating. Some of the things that connect the dots that typically like when a body of water, and then talk about these cases where people were found like upstream, 5 miles upstream of where they were originally reporting things. And that's really curious about what's going on. Trying to look at all of the changes, all the ways to get there's any overarching pattern. And I don't want to like spoil anything, but I think it's
That sounds interesting.
he's a strong advocate of making sure that he gets in many instances, carry a gun. Always make sure you know where you are. He's really recommend trying to not travel by yourself. But Shane, if you start watching the videos, you're gonna find that you fit pattern of a lot of the cases that you discussed with like, young men who were healthy and active outdoors.
What was his name again?
What's that?
What was the name?
Dave Holliday, ABLI. And he operates under 411 is one of his channels, and then there's one called the Can Air Memory Project, Canadian American Project. But if you once you watch the videos, specific cases that he goes on, if you do this is how good this guy is, how knows that he is, what he does in his background, or connected. But when he starts to connect the dots, he believes that he is on to something that could possibly be like supernatural. That's like a explanation for this. So I think if you were to watch that stuff immediately, but it's really, really fascinating.
Peace of mind, just some closure. It's crazy. People that get lost in the woods or off the trail, national parks, national forests, people that get lost are either hurt, delusional, or they have no business being out there at all. they want to go missing. It's almost like they want to go missing. Like they were never there. I'll check it out. Thank you very much. You too, Luke.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate the data. I'm excited to find out how I can fix that. The one thing I learned from those survival shows on TV is that if you're gonna do anything, if you're stranded, you go downhill till you can find water, then you follow the water till a railroad track, and then you follow the railroad track to a road, and then you're good.
Yeah. If anything, you need to know downstream. Well,
probably downstream.
really
but
depending on where the North Star is, and if you have any clue of where you are, you should know. I mean, if it's smarter to go uphill, it's fine. But
inflate your pants and float down the river like Boy Scouts.
I mean, I always
One
carry.
hitter.
I actually don't always carry a one hitter.
I think it's like a one hitter rifle.
I mean, I always carry. I have a pretty good system in place. I always carry a Glock 17. I always carry a first aid kit. I always carry butt wipes. Butt wipes is the one thing that I've used the most because I don't know what it is about me hitting a trail. I have this anxiety of leading up to the trailhead, and as soon as I get there, I have to take the biggest dump. I have to go to the bathroom. So it's just that's what I'm excited about. That's what gets me moving is getting to that trailhead. I mean, so like the one thing that I've really used the most is I eat a lot when I'm on the trail, which is nutrition, and you have to have energy to think straight. But water is important. But I mean, personal hygiene, and I mean, it's weird, but yeah, butt wipes. I don't know.
Fair answer. If it's true, that's true.
I mean, but I am a licensed carrier of a firearm, but people who carry hope to never have to use it. And people that don't carry don't understand. You just have to make sure that, for one, it is a government area. You cannot walk into a government building carrying a firearm, but most states will recognize and allow you to carry as long as you're a licensed concealed or licensed carrier from another state. A lot of other states do honor that as long as you go by the rules. So like Colorado, you're not allowed to have any more than 15 rounds in your magazine. So my Glock 17, I had to take out 2 rounds. That's, you have to know the rules, the laws of other states that do honor your license. If you go into California, obviously they're not going to honor your license. But there's a lot of, as long as you don't go into a government building, and the souvenir shop in a national park is a government building. So you need to be aware of that. Just do your research, read ahead. And then, obviously a lot of people I've read that if you do carry a firearm into a national forest or a national park, you can be accused of hunting, which is, I don't think, fair. So they say you need to carry the proper hunting permits or the hunting license. I'm like, I'm not hunting. I am only protecting myself. So if you were to come across an instance of a cougar or mountain lion or, a bear, there's they do suggest other ways of protecting yourself, like bear spray or, but if you do have, yeah, if you're carrying a 9mm 387 or whatever 45 you don't hunt with a handgun. Handguns for personal protection, but if you do, if national forests, national parks, they do ask you if you have any encounter with any wildlife, they ask you to report that. Even if it's just a sighting, like Guadalupe out West Texas, even if you do have a sighting of a mountain lion, they want that reported, so they track all that information. So if there is an instance where if you do have to defend yourself and you do shoot a mountain lion because he attacked you, you are better off reporting that than not reporting it, because for whatever reason, if that casing is found with your fingerprints on it and your fingerprints are listed somewhere, because if you do carry a firearm license, your fingerprints are on file. They find that they're gonna prosecute you for not reporting it and for hunting illegally. So you're better off coming forward first and reporting the incident, saying you were defending yourself, and telling the park ranger what happened, because they're gonna hear the gunshot, and more than likely they're gonna be questioning everyone coming off that area. So honesty is always the best policy. Don't be out there doing dumb shit. Don't be poaching. Poachers are terrible people.
I'm cruising the back roads of the Pitcairn Islands on Google Maps, thanks to you, Luke. I'm like doing that like street view thing where I go up like 100 yards at a time. It's wild to drive down these little dirt roads right on the edge of the ocean.
I bet they got pigs out there.
I bet there's some great pigs out there. Look at this little ditch right here. You won't even have to travel anymore. You can travel virtual reality style.
Clay's fixing to come up across somebody's moonshine still.
Pitcairn Lightning. Well, let's kind of like zoom out here and see who's. I always like to look at like who's balling on Pitcairn Island here. Like they're.
I bet they do.
Well, I bet it just looks so small that like everybody knows each other.
I bet they're.
Oh my God, Andy's Pizzeria.
I bet they're very self-sufficient.
There's a pizzeria right here. My God, look at those.
Like,
I mean, the only tourists that come are like the children of Illuminati that come, and they're like, they come as a novelty. Like, yes, I took Father's private jet to the Pitcairns, and we stopped at Andy's Pizzeria.
So how many yachts can you find offshore? You know what I mean?
Let's look.
I don't either. Yeah, for sure.
So do you guys think that Ghislaine Maxwell will tell her full unabridged story in court?
It's over my head. I don't know what you're talking about.
That lady that was one of Jeffrey Epstein's enablers. It's utterly, it'll be interesting. Andy's Pizzeria on Pitcairn Islands. That's my new life goal. Get there.
Do they deliver?
Um,
Do they have a
it
web-
is closed currently. They do have a Facebook. Let's check them out. I did have at one time at that fancy golf course we were talking about, one of these members was like, hey, I need to get my golf clubs to Dubai as soon as possible. And I got back to him. I was like,
Look, open this Friday. Phone line is dead. Please PM all pizza orders by Thursday night. You have to order a whole day and ahead, dude.
that was January 15th. You got to order by Thursday night.
Wow.
Wow, they've actually got pizza boxes. Those must be.
Did you explain to that guy that it would be definitely just easier?
I did, but he wasn't hearing it. He was like a Wolf of Wall Street character that wanted the best and
Didn't give a shit.
the most convenient thing at the time. And I said, it looks as though I can get your golf clubs to Dubai in a week, but it's going to cost you $1,800. And he said, oh, okay, I'll just get a rental set.
He wants to seem like
Yeah.
a big shot, but then again he wasn't. $1,800.
$8 for a cheese and herb pizza, $10 for a pineapple. Now what currency do they use on Pitcairn? Any guesses?
Is it closer to New Zealand than anything else? Even else?
New Zealand dollar. Very well. Very
Wow.
well.
Ding 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 ding.
A beef and
Winner.
onion pizza is $12. I want beef and onion.
They got bacon and ham.
These are pretty big pizzas. Let's see. Let's see what New Zealand dollar to USD is.
No,
yeah,
that,
it's definitely a Pizzagate situation. 66 cents for every New Zealand dollar. So if we've got a $12 za,
I know where I'm
That's
getting pizza from when I'm
a
there.
large for $8.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean they got to ship everything in. Now I'm interested.
How far is New Zealand from that island?
Super far.
It's not even close.
That's like Guam. Guam
It's
is
closer to Chile.
Let's see how far it is. Andy's Pizzeria to
Add the next destination.
Chile. Jeffy's Pedo House. You can't drive there. It says.
Can you walk?
How do
Can
you even
fly?
get there? You gotta boat
Change
it.
your setting. Change.
Walking?
Well, fly. There's a plane on the far right, isn't there?
No, it's not even.
There's no airport.
You gotta have a special circumstance to get out to Pitcairn. I don't even see a landing strip.
It's for the rich and famous.
I'm sure.
You could have
there's
a hot air balloon play.
I want to get to Christian's Cave.
Maybe it's time travelers only.
Probably. Pulau School.
Imagine that they had, okay, so what if there's like 4,500
Uh-huh.
Imagine for what 67 people are living on the island.
I wonder how many of them have a high school education.
I don't even
Or
know
any
how,
education.
how in the hell have they survived this long?
Well, I think
They have Facebook, dude.
people like go somewhere to mainland for a couple months. Like whenever
maybe it's like that movie, like The Island, or what was it with
Castaway.
yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, where they go there just to grow marijuana. Maybe that's all they do is grow pot, and then they take it back to anywhere to sell it.
So then all they got to do once they're there is get their way down to Andy's Pizzeria.
Yeah, but why would you want pizza on an island unless you're stoned, bro?
It's all
Why
coming
wouldn't you be
together.
having fish tacos or something? You know?
The whole island is shaped like
got
the
pizza.
Illuminati symbol, so it's all coming together. We watched Eyes Wide Shut the other day. You guys seen that movie in a while? That's a creepy one. Eyes Wide Shut, super creepy. Oliver Stone apparently died after he submitted Stanley Kubrick died right after he submitted the final cut of the film. So it got my imagination running if perhaps he met a similar fate to Jeffrey Epstein from
I
telling.
want to go back to your conversation on Interstellar because I do enjoy that movie a lot, and I think that the only hope for this planet is portal technology. I think that what you could do with that, so we have so many cascading issues, right? We have rising sea levels, we have melting ice. Imagine a situation where, okay, we recognize there's another planet that could be inhabited, aka Mars, but it's a little bit too far to get there by like conventional ships and stuff like that. But if you could put like a portal on Mars and then you could have a little portal on Earth, you could basically take all of our overflow water and just dump it onto Mars and just like feed that planet with, you know, the building blocks, and all of the excess carbon dioxide in our atmosphere would be perfect to put into Mars's atmosphere so you can start to grow crops. So all of the excess CO2 that we produce, we would just pipe that, you know, effectively over to Mars.
And we could also just then port all of our trash to the moon.
That's right, or wherever, you know, just directly to the sun or something like that, where all the trash goes.
Or the sun. Yeah, even better.
I think that's the only way to save.
Just the moon would be a lot closer, I guess. Crazy.
The planet will survive, whether or not humans do it. That's
Well, that's something that I'm not particularly interested in nor educated in, but probably most likely to a fault. It sounds as though the scientific consensus is that we're doing irreparable damage to our home planet and we're slowly suffocating ourselves.
at their previous assumptions. So whenever they make assumptions, they make like a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So they have kind of a range of what to expect. And every time they go back and retrospectively look at their previous assumptions, the current reality is worse than their worst case scenario prediction. And that just seems to be a recurring pattern. So they have like 100 degrees Fahrenheit recorded temperatures in Siberia recently, which is totally unprecedented. And the issue we're going to run into is the permafrost starts melting, which is basically a layer of ice that has encapsulated a lot of like methane gas and stuff. And that is Pandora's box. Once that ice melts and all that methane is released into the atmosphere, methane is like 5 times worse greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. And there's some interesting evidence that Venus may at one point have actually been habitable, or it would have been it could have been at temperatures that would have sustained life. But basically, if you look at Venus now, it's like what would happen if you had runaway greenhouse effect. The whole like planet turns into this sort of molten, like temperatures that are just like above like mean temperature everywhere. So it's like it can't support life, and from what they can tell, it's because of really high greenhouse gas effects on that planet.
So now I'm putting on the tinfoil hat for sure. Are we getting into the Space Force, and is the whole reason behind our investment in the Space Force secretly to start training, the next level of astronauts that are going to be able to get us off of this planet because they know that our planet is doomed in 150 years or whatever it is. So this is like a 200-year plan.
Well, even if, well, the thing is, it's like, Stephen Hawking talks a lot about this, is that, okay, take climate change stuff off the table, but that's not even up for discussion. The survival of the human race, every planet that you colonize effectively doubles the chance of survival of the human race. Because, even if it weren't for climate change, it could be an asteroid that takes out planet Earth or something, and the whole entire human race. So you have to be, if you want to survive long term through the millennial and millions of years, you have to be a multiplanetary species.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, that's like they talk about all the checkpoints that you have to reach for us to be having this conversation as we hurl through infinity. And to continue this whole mass experiment, you have to reach other situations in which you can kind of transcend your limitations. And that's what I found so interesting about Interstellar. And I would.
There's an interesting show you might enjoy, Clay. I think it's called. Oh man, I gotta remember. I don't even remember. But it's about it's about like a journey, like a multi-generational journey to Alpha Centauri or something like that, where they thought they had a habitable planet, but it's like it's going to take 3 generations of humans to get there. And so the show picks up with like kind of into the second generation of people who are going to, they were born on the ship and they're never going to see the destination.
Right, your entire to know that your destiny is like a yes, you're the you're the workhorse. To know that you have no hope for an entire generation, you're just to continue passing the torch. You never get the torch to the final destination.
Yeah, but it was a pretty interesting show.
Well, that's my skeptical mind, because I saw something today. Joe Rogan put out a thing that the Pentagon is officially recognizing that they have come into possession of extra earthly vehicles. They said that we are now in possession of vehicles that are not of earthly origin, which is like so like bullshit. Like, just say what you got. You got something that was not built on Earth. Okay, so you got an alien craft. No. We have a vehicle that is not of earthly origin. It's like, oh, really? Like, today is like a fucking like, what do they say, bellwether day? Like this, they should be like, scientists should be out cheering in the streets if that's true.
Yeah.
But we're at a situation in journalism where it's like, man, we'll wait and see. The Pentagon is acknowledging our possession of extra worldly vehicles, and we're like, meh, we'll wait and see.
We have to find the pilot.
Dude, I mean, how crazy is that? How freaking...
I think it is
Without
they claim like the pilots saying like everything was stuff is accurate, but now they're coming out and like publicly affirming it. And so kind of like the United States always has to have a boogeyman, whether it's like the war on drugs or the war on terror or whatever, in order to justify the war. Now we have an extraterrestrial boogeyman to be afraid of, so that we can justify how.
great. That's all we need. That's all we need. Another character in the book.
So if you had to put 100 of your hard-earned dollars on it, Shane, is the U.S. government currently in possession of a UFO?
Sure. Yeah. Easy.
Luke, what do you think?
You think we're the only people out here?
Huh?
We can't be the
No,
only.
it's the government
I would
in possession.
like videos, I would think that there's high probability that they have evidence of it, like concrete evidence of it, but I would put the odds very low that they actually have, you know, something of that in their possession. Because you're talking about something that's so technologically more advanced than us.
Yeah.
And like the likelihood of it like crashing, like accidents. So it made it all this way.
Yeah, that's where I get hung up. It's like, why would
If
it?
it's not from the Earth, there's a whole other organization that's so far beyond what we know, and they've done such a great job of staying undercover. They can do something like this on Earth without us knowing. I'd be scared of that.
Well, the way I think about it is if you think about life as like one big, whatever your religion, nobody knows for sure what happened, but for some reason, life started at some point. Isn't every life within the known universe related then? Like, isn't every life based on life? So the idea of like the idea of alien is a fallacy that like we're just thinking about it the wrong way. Like we would all have some similar building blocks.
We're all the same building block, but we are from totally different branches of like, you know, evolution. Whatever different other stuff.
We heard you were discussing aliens.
But what about
We would like to be on
you
camera.
guys want to be on camera? Come on into the show. We've got some aliens here coming into the 1L studios from friendly Bedford, Texas. We've got some Martians, we've got some Neptunians, and we've got some Plutons. And my goodness. Ladies, what do you think? If you had to bet $100, is the U.S. government currently in possession of crashed UFOs?
Yes, we pay them to hold them.
And
There you go.
Neptunian? Yes. And yes. Okay, we've got 3 yeses. And anything else for the folks out there? What do we need to know?
The aliens just came.
The aliens have come and they have begun to leave. And my goodness, my gracious sakes,
We have visitors.
we have visitors. I think, here's what I think. You guys ready for this? I think it's an interstellar situation. I think that all life is interconnected, and then you get to a certain point where you are so technologically advanced where you can take your kind to any corner of the known universe, and then that particular, whatever population, whatever civilization gets to a point where you can time travel and you can have that 5D experience in the 3D space that they try to show in the Interstellar movie. Whenever you get to that level of technology, you win. You win the universe game, and then you get to start colonizing. And then hopefully by then you have the understanding that like war and politics is not the best way to do things. Like they say in the movie, like love and gravity is the only thing that transcends dimensions. So possibly once you get to that level of technology and you can zoom to anywhere you want to go, you're not a dick anymore. And you go there, and perhaps Earth, like they showed us in South Park, is perhaps Earth is some sort of like petting zoo. Hello?
That's an alien dog.
It's an alien dog.
Look, come on.
It's the guy from Men in Black. What's his name?
Everybody always
Frank.
says that Lucky looks like the dog
Frank.
from Men in Black. But he,
Does not.
to my eye, he looks much different. Ralph?
No, his name's Frank.
Frank, thank you.
Come on.
But yeah, that's what I think. I think
You
that
traitor.
what we think of as aliens are just us in the future, in
This
the
is like
far,
the
far
longest
future.
podcast of all time. By
Huh?
the way, Rodney texted you and you're third up on call tomorrow.
Okay. Third up on call tomorrow.
Right on.
Yeah, I think aliens are us in the future. Like 1,000,000 years from now.
I think our society is so rotten, they're not interested in us. or we're so far behind, they're not interested in us.
It would.
We got nothing to offer.
We're like reruns.
The aliens need help with the TV.
Huh?
The aliens need help with the TV.
Okay.
We've been
We
patiently
gotta go to commercial break.
waiting, but it's been 4 hours, so.
Well, I think it's time to shut it down here on the Grown Man Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I've got to work potentially tomorrow. It's been a blast. Thank you for tuning in, Lauren and Jessica and the others on the Grown Man Radio Show. I have an alien here currently looking at me, very frightening, menacing facade here. Luke, thank you for calling in. I love you.
Pleasure, Luke.
Shane, thanks for your time and expertise.
I'm glad
Hope to have you on a
glad
future
to.
show. I do have to get a
Yeah,
photo of you,
I like
Shane. Let me see if I can get. Do you have a phone? Can I capture this moment? I want to get a picture of you in the studio. I can throw it up on my wall here. And there we are. Bingo, bango, bongo. Oh, that's Pitcairn Islands. We're coming for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Grown Man Radio Show. The Grown Man Radio Show is brought to you by Ollie Plays Golf, Ollie Goes Fishing, and Sandbaggery, The Art of Winning at All Costs from A to Z, all available on Amazon right now. Those are my children's books and golf satire book. Shane, do you have anything that you want to plug? Any organizations that you believe in? Any charitable groups or
Hayden's Corner.
Hayden's Corner Hayden's Corner, check it out. And Luke has dropped off there. Big thanks to big bro Luke. And this is the Grown Man Radio Show.
Oh, that's too much fun.
Peace, man.